sick of this whole thing, you know?
Mhm.
I'm just about tired of this whole goddamn thing. And this whole thing is because for 12 years, I just did nothing but give every single second, 24 hours a day to Ace, to loving him and taking care of him and everything, for him to just completely abandon me and have someone threaten my life and allow Gene to get away with what he did. And just abandon me with no money to go on. There's a virus. He doesn't answer the phone. This is just really, really wrong on every single level.
All right, something cool here with Rachael Gordon and her manager, Robert Cameron. How you guys doing tonight?
All right. All right.
So, Rachel, after the last time we spoke, what's your living situation look like right now?
You there, Rachel? Uh-oh. Did we lose her?
I see she's still connected. I don't.
Rachel? Because I don't hear anything.
No, I don't see her talking. I mean, I see her part of the meeting, but I don't hear her.
I wonder if she had to lower her. Well, she's writing me something. She's writing WTF. Oh, Rachel, try again. Just wait for her. Just wait.
Yeah, no problem.
It's unusual because where she was living before, if I could address she was living in outside San Diego in the hills in Hamul, and she had no Wi-Fi reception and stuff, and it was really hard to get her. We figured out she had to climb a hill. So she went up there with a golf cart and stuff, and she used to sit outside in the golf cart. It's like places in those hills, it's like that.
Yeah, the last time we spoke, she was actually just getting evicted from the place that she.
Yeah, that was I started to talk to her at the end of September. She was evicted September 9th. She was in the hotel for 12 days, 10th to 22nd. 23rd, they ran out of money, a synagogue, and she ended up at this trailer. She was assaulted. I don't know if you know this. Do you know any of this?
I've just seen posts. I haven't talked to her about it.
Well, she got hit in the head really bad in late October, and I was already in on this for the eviction file.
Rachel, you back?
Hello?
Yeah, you're back.
Hello, I'm back. Hello.
Hello, Rachel.
Hello?
Hello. We were just discussing.
I don't want to go through that again. My nerves are shot to hell. I'm sitting in my car. I keep having to call this number, push in all these numbers. You know, I'm on someone's couch. I have nowhere to live. I just gave 12 years of my life to Ace Frehley and 24 hours for this.
Rachel, if we lose you, I can get you by phone, okay? And on my phone, okay? So if we lose you, just my call, okay?
All right. I don't want like 45-minute talking without me even being able to say anything.
Yeah.
I do not want that. I'm really nervous. I'm a nervous wreck right now, and I'm going to start crying. I've had enough of this torture for kids and Ace and all this shit. I have nowhere to live. There's no money, and it's COVID. After giving 12 years of my life and 24 hours a day to Ace, he took me and kicked me to the curb with nothing, no money. I called him and told him that a stranger raped me and knocked me out, and he didn't even answer his phone or return my text.
Who was this person who did this to you, Rachel?
Oh, she's fading out. Are you getting her?
Hello?
I'm getting bits and pieces of her. She's starting to cut out.
Same here. Same here.
I'm right here.
Okay, go ahead.
Why am I cutting out? I don't understand. What?
It sounds a little bit better now, Rachel. You're cut out there for a minute.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I would.
I have technology these days, you know.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Yep.
I don't want any of that deleted. I want it in the interview.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How upset I am. What's going on with my life?
So now I understand you filed a $25 million civil suit against Gene and Ace. Is that correct?
That one's just today at Gene for sexual assault by force.
Yeah. It includes Ace. It includes Ace because of the conspiracy that we can talk about. So, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ramsey.
So now, as far as that goes, when you have both of them, how does that work out? I mean, are you looking for a certain amount from one of them, or are they both responsible for that full amount?
Yeah, half on the 25 million, but there was already a prior lawsuit. If I could just answer this quickly, okay, Rachel, just to give him some background. There was a prior lawsuit filed by her attorney related to palimony and the partnership October 28th, just Ace alone. But he didn't file for a sexual battery against Gene, so we did that in January.
So you filed a criminal suit against Gene?
Correct. Yeah.
You did that in January, so that was after he was able to fly to Dubai to do the New Year's Eve show. So he must have got.
Actually, I need to speak, but just let me answer this one, Rachel, really quickly, okay?
Yep.
So what occurred here, Ramsey, is that Gene, we knew about the Dubai show. We were preparing the lawsuit because there was a 3-year deadline for basically January 13th since the assault, which was January 13th, 2018. And our intention was to either serve him when he was coming through LAX, because Gene is not an easy guy to find. Okay, you follow me, right? So we knew that they flew out sometime between Christmas and New Year for the Dubai blowout. And the Dubai blowout, in terms of the volume of number of, downloads and signups was probably about 50 million. It was a $50 million deal for the band. They flew a combined American-British crew out with.
We don't care what they flew.
Okay, hold on. Let me just say this, okay? The reason why that's significant is 50 million is double what this lawsuit is. Now, Gene also has his house up for sale, which is 22 million, and he had another house that he put up for sale. This is between Halloween and Christmas. And so all this was going on, if you follow what I'm saying, right?
Right.
So there's a deadline for an assault deadline to get a civil lawsuit in, and you have Gene announcing that he's leaving LA for good. They're retiring, right? It is eventually revealed that they signed 150 more cities and they had Dubai. So our intention was to even serve him as he's going through the airport. But it ended up that the lawsuit was delayed. However, we wanted him questioned for these assaults because it's part of the lawsuit as well. From a criminal side. So anyway, we did get the lawsuit in. It was in for January 13th, and it's proceeding. It's been accepted by the court this past week. So you have a $25 million lawsuit against Gene Simmons for sexual battery. And Ace, we added Ace as a party simply because he was there, and we believe that there was a conspiracy, which we'll outline after the assault in April 2018 between Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, summoning Ace Frehley to Paul's home and telling him to get rid of Rachel.
So has either one of them been served?
They're being served. They're being served. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So Rachel, how are you doing through all this? I know that you've had post-traumatic stress. Last time.
Uh-oh.
On people's couches. When you're wondering what's going on, I need to pay my and see them. They're saying we haven't seen you in over a year, and this and this and this. For all my for everything we can. So he only allowed me to see the dentist twice in 13 years, 12 years. Twice. Every time I was sick and wanted to go to the dentist, he said, I don't want to go to the dentist. I don't like going to the dentist because the girls are bothering me about him. So he denied me, you know, I could get a new dress, but I couldn't go to the dentist. And all this fraud and surgery, you know, I have a piece of paper. I have and own a piece of paper that was found on his side of and a bunch of really poor attempts to copy my signature underneath it that looked like a retarded 9-year-old did it. I'm sorry. Just the forgery alone.
So
my lawyer's like, he's going away just because of the forgery.
What was forged though? What did he forge? Like documents for billing or?
He had me. The forging, he got in trouble and went to jail for forgery before he told me. I really don't know. It could have been a million things because it's been going on for a long time. You know? Fraud. Look at the giant stack of bank statements I have with 2 accounts with only my name on them. One of them I knew of but wasn't allowed to. I was just told I was the boss, but I wasn't allowed to know anything about it. Like, I didn't even know I was the CEO or the president, or I wasn't allowed to ask about business or anything at all. It was like a little thing to just testify me. And then there's another account called Rachael Gordon Company where he's like, you go through the papers and you see that he's paying himself, 80 to 100,000. John is paying himself, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's a company, Rachael Gordon Company, I've never even heard of it. Little payments like $30 here and $100 there because it's payments to me.
So is the Rachael Gordon Company an LLC that he set up?
No. There's no Rachael Gordon.
I don't know what it is, but it's made to me with it. So it's something he created. Account.
It's fake. It's fake. Remington, it's fake.
So when you say you're the CEO, you're the CEO of SpaceAceMusic Incorporated then?
Yeah.
And then when he took off in 2018 and he was violent and started taking trazodone and everything and he took off and it was in TMZ that he collapsed and all this stuff. There's all these charges to the card that just has my name on it. He took off to Dallas. He was whoring around with some chick, and went to the Wynn and all this money with the account with only my name on it. I'm the old CEO and the president. And him and John are just at it. I don't get it at all.
Okay, so I
don't even know why why did he pick me? Why did he pick me out of a million people in the world to fuck over this bad? I mean, I was told every day of my life for 12 years how much he needed me and loved me and couldn't be without me, no matter how much of a jerk he was being. He always made that clear.
Now you just throw out the name John.
And I'm sitting here in COVID, in winter, in COVID, with no place to live. He refuses to acknowledge me, my existence. They're trying to erase me. Gene's crooked so-called lawyer, Barry Mellon, called me a while ago screaming his head off at me in front of my friends on the phone who were like, God, that guy's horrible, screaming, going, nothing is going to work for you. I'm going to make sure nobody cares about anything you put out, any book. You're not going to get anything out. You're not going to do your album. nothing's going to work for you. No one's going to listen to you. And I'm going to call everyone you know and tell them that if they have anything to do with you, then they have something to do with extortion. And I said, extortion? I said, rape. You can say extortion all day, all you want, and I'll look at you in a court of law and tell you that was it. What she did to me was sexual assault, was rape. Shoving you down and shoving your finger inside of me happened to be rape. I don't care what way you look at it. And
Now,
any fan that says something like, that has a bad thing to say about me, for every one of those fans, there's 8 people that call me up and talk to me or message me or text me that are completely on my side, that have had horrible, horrible things done to them by not just Gene Simmons, but other members of the original lineup.
now recently,
So Gene can just try me. Gene can try me. Gene can, you know what? He can just take me to court and look me in the face, because I'll do it. I'll go tomorrow. I have nothing on. My life has been completely ruined, pulled out from underneath. All why? Because I didn't find out what he did to you. Yeah, well, guess what? He did.
do you have a court date?
First court date is April 23rd for the first case, the Palimony partnership case.
Now, with the Palimony partnership case, are you trying to get back pay? Is there a certain amount, continuance?
Yeah, that's 10 million is that case.
And that's going to consist of the entire relationship and things like that. Does Ace still pay for his ex? Well, I guess his current or recent. So it wouldn't be an ex-wife. I guess if he's still married. Do you know that or no?
I don't know. He's saying that he bought a house in New Jersey. You know what? He didn't buy that house.
Yeah.
First of all, he hates New Jersey, and I knew it right away. I knew immediately when I heard that he did not buy a house in New Jersey. He used to go on and on about how crazy Peter was for buying a home in New Jersey. He's swatting that Rachi person's house, and that Rachi woman. By the way, that house belongs to her and her ex-husband. Ace is just squatting there.
We did some research on the house.
Trying to argue with me. She sends me stupid texts of trying to argue with me in some sort of,
We did research on the house. It's a house that was given to the woman he's with who after a divorce. So he didn't buy this house at all.
No, what I was talking about was Monique's mother. Does he still pay her, or is he?
We don't know. We don't know that for sure. As a matter of fact,
but I'll tell you right now, they're mafia and they've threatened my life. And I'm telling you on every single one of them.
Those payments could simply be to keep them quiet about things he's been involved in over the years. What Rachael described before she moved to San Diego could clearly be payments to that family, because when there was earlier period where the Teratolas met Rachael, and they were trying to co-opt her, like tell her to keep her mouth shut, because anything that what they did as a family, a wider ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want out. And so Rachael was an outsider. And there was one time, maybe you can relay this, where she came off the stage and they were waiting for Ace, and it was just men, no women. So maybe you can outline that sort of meeting that you had with the Teratola, Rachael. So
they were just backstage, and I said, "Who are these guys? Who are these weird, gross old mob guys, crouched down like vultures in the green room or whatever?" It was when I first started seeing him, and he said it's the Teratolas and and their people or whatever, and I was like, what? Who the hell are they and why? Asking me all these questions, and one of them apologized for being related to Jeanette. I said, "Are you apologizing?" I don't even know her. I don't know why you're apologizing to me. And, you know, they were just asking me personal questions, and I answered them, and that was that.
But
And I told Ace, I said, don't ever allow that to happen again.
right. But the threats came later years. This was very early, and then by midpoint,
Well, his daughter threatened me right away. His daughter threatened me in 2009.
slit your
And
throat,
some weird, you know,
mouth, you know.
some weird, like, some weird hospital facility, like rehab facility, called me and said, and asked me, we know that you're, you know, you're Ace's new fiance or girlfriend or whatever. And I said, how did you get my number? They called my phone. And they said, is Monique there? We're trying to find. I said, Ace picked her up. She's staying here. And they went somewhere, you know. And she said, has Monique harmed you or stolen from you? And I said, she's done both. Well, she's a very dangerous woman, and she shouldn't have been taken out of the hospital. We're trying to get a hold of Ace, but he's not getting a hold of us. And I said, well, you know, and Monique tried to physically attack me.
Sounds like a mental hospital.
She's a maniac.
Hospital. Yeah, sounds like a mental.
And then, you know, I don't know. She personally told me, and Ace told me, that she's been in and out of the house for hard drugs. She was 14 years old, and that's all she knows.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
You know?
Maybe we could get back to
Ace goes, I was scoring for her in the 90s. He goes, I scored for her in the 90s, and I was doing heroin with her in the 90s. I said, oh, that's really admirable.
Yeah, well, maybe you could just comment on what he said about Monique and why he did that. Why did he do that?
Why did he do what? Why did he score for her and do drugs with her?
Yeah.
He didn't explain that to me. He just said he did.
I thought you made a comment one time that he was saying he was trying to protect her from bad dealers.
When we were on the road, whenever we were on the road, and I'm talking about all the time, we got calls, and Ace got calls from different hospitals. And Ace would always say, she's gonna OD, I know it. And I was like, why do you keep enabling her? Why do you keep just dismissing it, not talking to her about it, and giving her money when you know that she's gonna spend it on drugs every single time? And then she turns up in a hospital, and then he told me she's gonna OD. She almost OD'd again. I mean, constant. He was telling me that. You know, and I was like, well, you know, she might do that indeed, because you're not doing anything to help. Also, we're dealing with a grown woman. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if she's picking up death drugs and she's 40, then maybe she should figure out, you know, she needs to help herself too. But she doesn't. She used to come over to our house and lay on top of Ace. And my girlfriend witnessed it. A really good girlfriend of mine witnessed it and is a witness to it, and was like, how long has this been going on? I was like, you know, since I met Ace. She lays, his daughter's like 5'10" and lays on top of him and like caresses him like a lover. And it's just really weird. And they don't talk, and they act like they're 5 years old, and they just watch Disney movies for days, and they don't. It's just really weird. And I mentioned it to him one time. I just said, look, I'm going to need to know what is going on here. And then he just completely cried and said, it's her. She's all fucked up. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I said, tell her to stop it. If you don't tell her to stop it, she's not going to. You got to tell her it's wrong. You got to tell her that she can't caress the inside of your thigh. It's not right.
Now, Monique's definitely been
sorry to say such gross things. Sorry if people are offended that I'm you know, saying that I'm telling the truth. That's just too goddamn bad, because all of them are going to jail because of what they did to me. This is not a Muslim country. This isn't somewhere where you get to just treat a woman after 12 years, you know, like kicking her like a dog in the street, and then, and then not receiving any calls from her and acting like she never existed.
Nope, Monique's definitely been keeping tabs.
No, I'll tell you the whole truth. I'll tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth. The ugly, the good, the bad, and the ugly about it.
Go ahead, Ramsey. Sorry, got interrupted there.
Yeah, Monique's definitely been keeping tabs on it. I see she comments on some of the interviews that you have done.
Let her comment. I have her cards from 2019 telling me how much she loves me. I got them in my purse. I can actually read one right now. It's like, it's just about how much she's, in her dad's life, and that she's so lucky to know me, and she, thanks for taking good care of her dad, and then what's she doing on social networks, saying horrible things about me? I'm not understanding it.
Now, with this being a conspiracy case against Ace, do you think that he might have allowed these things to go on to future his career with Kiss?
Can you clarify that question? I think I understand it, but you're asking what in terms of the future, or?
Yeah, like it's a conspiracy charge against Ace in the lawsuit there.
Yeah. Well, the conspiracy is related to him carrying out Paul Stanley, and Paul Stanley runs the band. Gene, is less running the band. So they summons Ace after these assaults. And we found the date, April 13, 2018, to Paul Stanley's house. Ace believes he's going there to get an end of the road tour contract, because he did some Gene Simmons vaults. He did the one song. What's the song again, Rachel? The free song,
What?
Fire and Water. Okay, he
Fire and Water.
On Fire and Water. He doesn't give credit to Rachel for her suggesting to do one of those songs. A Beatles song in his album. He's publicizing widely that he got the inspiration for the Origin Volumes 1 and Volume 2. More than half of it was coming from Rachel. Suggestions over the years as to what songs to cover. He has a mantra online that he didn't want to do it. Well, actually, it was his wife for 12 years whispering in his ear to do it, right? So he doesn't give credit where credit is due here. But back to the conspiracy. After the assaults, he's summonsed up to Paul's house, and they have this meeting. Now, we have this confirmed in a tape recording with Doc McGee, because initially they even denied that this meeting took place. The meeting was supposedly, Ace was brought up there, him thinking it's an end of the road tour contract in some fashion, right? Even after the assaults, even after what occurred at the vault, at the Capitol Records vault. And he believes that he's going to be offered some sort of a role in Kiss beyond, a Madison Square Garden finale. And he gets up there and he's told, "We know about your woman. She's talking to a lawyer in LA," because Rachel's lawyer talked to Barry Mallon, which is Gene's lawyer. This is an entertainment lawyer, Barry Mallon. And he's told, "Get rid of her. Get rid of her now." Right? Now, he's not in the band. Right? Ramsey, he's not in the band. It's not something they can hold over him where he's the lead guitarist like Tommy or the drummer or something. You're in or out. They can't give him the elbow. So it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy to treat Rachel like some sort of sideshow Barnum and Bailey act and get rid of her. But it goes beyond that. He puts all kinds of things into motion because of that. And we can outline that. But that's the conspiracy part. Okay.
You know what I'm going to talk now.
Go ahead. Rick.
What happened was he came home from
Yeah, go through. Rachel,
2018. Can you guys hear me?
yeah,
Hear you.
choppy.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
It's choppy. Can you hear me now?
Hear you better than we just did.
Hear me?
Yes.
He came home 2018 from his first he left me at the house for months. I had no money and the lease was up and I was freaked out and it was on disease collapsed. And it was a nightmare and I called everyone. I didn't know what to do. It was unprecedented. I knew it was so the only person that has any pull over him is Gene, and I texted Gene. Get too into it. I said, Gene, he's been gone. He needs to get back.
Okay.
He needs to come home.
Hold on, Rachel. Is it fading out for you, Ramsey?
Yeah. I got
Yeah,
it.
Rachel. I wanna try
I
to
don't know
call
what
you.
to do.
I want to try to call you and see if this is better, a separate line. Okay, just let me do it.
I can't hear me.
Just hang up from the Zoom. Okay, I'm going to get you directly. All right. Because
all right.
it's an important point that you're going over. This is after Ace disappears. After this is before April 13th. He disappears February and March of 2018, and then he's told that to get rid of you. So, all right, did you hang up?
Yeah, she's gone.
Okay, good. Hold on one second. Let me just bring her up on my contact and get her directly. See if this will work better. Let's just see if it sounds better, okay? Doing a volume test here. Here we go. There you go. There's her phone. Come on, Rachel. Just answer the phone. There you go. Okay. Can you hear that okay or not?
Yeah, I can hear that.
Rachel, go ahead.
Well, now you can't hear me. I'm not on the direct line with Ramsey.
Well, you're going to have to hear through my speakers. Ramsey, just speak up a bit, okay?
Sure. Can you hear me, Rachel?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, go. You can both hear each other.
Anyway, so Gene, just a minute. I want to make sure my friend doesn't. Gene just he texted me back immediately after I said the Ace was gone and said, "Don't say anything. It's important that you don't say anything. It's family business. Don't tell anyone." And I texted him back and I said, "Okay, if you want to play it that way, if he's not back home by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, it's going to be my lawyer's business because I had a lawyer."
Right.
I didn't want it, I wanted him to come home, but, I had a lawyer. I was sick of it already. He was calling me up and saying the most horrifying, as soon as he started taking trazodone, he turned into a monster, a maniac.
Yeah.
I even have cards where he's like, a text of him saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't know that trazodone makes men crazy," and all this stuff, and he kept taking it and taking it.
This is in the 2 months after the assault. We're into February, March 18. Okay. You with me, Ramsey?
Yes.
Okay. Go, Rachel.
He came back. So he came back, and it was hot out, and he was back at 8 in the morning. So after that, after I said, "Okay, if he's not back at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, it's going to be my lawyer's deal." I didn't hear back from Gene. Within 30 minutes, I had a text from our personal assistant, John, and the text read, "Ace misses you, and he will be home at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning." So I woke up early the next morning, and I made coffee,
So
he
they
came
control
in,
them. They control them.
the worst mess I've ever seen. He came in,
Yeah.
he came in with, he soiled himself, his hair was on backwards, he was broken out, emaciated, crying, clutching some flowers and a box of Whitman's chocolates and saying he's strung out, crying, going, ooh, I'm strung out. Someone had me and all this stuff. So I was taking care of him. I put him out in the sun. I loved him. I forgave him. I let go of my attorney.
Right.
I took care of him, and it wasn't even a week where he was in the sun and his skin was barely clearing up when he gets this call from Paul Stanley, and he takes it outside, and he's got to have it on speaker.
Yeah.
And Paul Stanley is like talking about how his back hurts, and he goes, I'm just pounding painkillers like the candy. From Paul Stanley, the one who's so against everyone doing drugs all the time. He's a liar.
Right. Interesting.
Anyway, he insists that Ace come up for this meeting. And I heard Ace say without hesitation, of course. And when he got on the phone, I said, I think it's a little bit early for you to be taken off. You're not quite healed yet, et cetera, et cetera. You need a few more days to rest. I don't think you should get in the car and haul ass up to LA right now. But he's not going to, if they say jump, he'll jump. So he got in the car. It was like the next day, which I think was a Saturday. He drove up, and he was gone all day long. And I started to get worried. He didn't get back till 10 o'clock at night. And when he got back, he was flipping out. He was throwing cowboy boots. He was slamming around the house and flipping out, motherfucker this and motherfucker that. And I was like, what? What happened at the meeting? Tell me what happened at the meeting. He held on to me and he said, they sat down and they whispered and they said, we know she's got a lawyer and you got to get rid of her and get rid of her now. And I don't want to hurt my poodle. I don't want to, they want me to hurt you. They want me to get rid of you.
They want me to hurt you.
Don't do it. They want me to kill my poodle. I don't want to kill my poodle. Just freaking out. Cried all night in my arms, cried himself, sobbed himself asleep. I was awake. This is how it went down.
Right. Rachel, I need to give context to this, and this is critical. Okay. So this is when he comes back and then he goes to Paul's house, but he disappears February and March. And if you look at his tour schedule, there's nothing there. It's online, acefrehley.com tour. Okay. You compare it for that period. He's gone. So he's on trazodone. He takes off, and Rachel has no way to pay bills. She's sitting in a 15,000 square foot estate. You're still at 4277, I believe.
4277.
Yeah, she's at Bridges this isn't just gardeners. This is water bills. Everything else is coming in for 60 days. At the very, very last moment, she calls Gene. He doesn't answer. She texts him, and he texts back. Now, remember, Capitol Records, right, Ramsey?
Yep.
January. First vault, very first vault, by the way, of all the vaults was at Capitol Records. Who knew? This is where the first assault take place. Ace is an employee of Gene Simmons' vault at that point. We now know. He's making appearances.
I didn't know that was the first vault.
Yeah, it was the first vault. Look at GeneSimmonsVault.com. Look at it. Look at the 400 pictures they snap at all the vaults. You'll see it. That's part of the press release that I put in. So you have Ace really being an employee of KISS, or Gene, I should say, Gene Simmons' vault. Rachel makes an appearance there. For the rest of 2018, that's their job. Sure.
Gene called and told Ace to bring me.
There you go. There you go. So my point is that the assaults take place. Rachel retains a lawyer during that period. Ace disappears on trazodone. And then at the last moment, after no bills being paid, because she has no access to anything, Ace has all the bills, has all the accounts, has the cards. She texts Gene. Gene texts back. She's got the text. This is a family matter. This is a family matter. Do you hear me? Right? These are people who don't have the same last name. They're not relatives. The Kiss family, right? This is a lead guitarist. This is a lead guitarist who's left the band.
He apologized to me all the way up until the ambush in July 19th.
Right. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But my point is that the context of this is Rachael is the gilded bird in the cage, and she's like chirping, there's no way to pay the bills here. Where's Ace? Where's Frehley? In the last resort, she contacted all kinds of people. No one knew where he was. Then she sends out a message to Gene, and lo and behold, they knew where he was. Do you follow me? Right. Okay. They knew where he was, dude. He was, as a matter of fact, we think he was just in Orange County, up in Monique's townhouse, but we're not sure. We're not 100% sure. Rachael.
No, he wasn't.
Okay. Regardless of where he was, let's not get into where he was.
If you'll listen to me.
Go ahead, Rachael.
I called him when he first took off. I called him. I called Dallas.
Dallas, okay.
He was in Dallas. I called him. He was checking into a hotel in Dallas, and it was an accident. You know, when he accidentally called me, and then I called him back. He accidentally called me. That's enough. You know, when you dial someone, you don't realize you dialed it. So I heard him talking.
Right.
And I heard him when he's getting out of the car. He's being helped out of the car. I'm listening. I can hear everything perfectly clear. Hi, Mr. Frehley. You know.
Right. She gets him on the fly.
And I hear him say, "Are you the driver for the next few days?" And the guy says, "Yeah." And I hear Ace go, "Yeah, well, can you bring a better car than that tomorrow? Because I have a lady friend I'm taking shopping."
Yeah, it doesn't sound like he's on trazodone on drugs to me. Okay, keep going.
I called him right back, and I heard him going, I don't, here, talk to me, I'll serve it. So this helper gets on the phone and goes, "It's really, there's nobody with him right now," and making up all these excuses for him. I said, "Look, I just heard everything on the phone. Look, you know." So he's got the card with my name on it.
Right.
And I just found all these things. He's got this chick he flew her to Vegas. They went shopping. They're all over Dallas. They went to the Wynn. He went to the East Coast.
The transactions tell the truth, Ramsey, that we now know, right, at that period. Right. Go ahead, Rachael.
The matter, he came home, apologized, and they told him, "We know she has lawyers. Get rid of her.
Right.
And get rid of her now."
She may blow this stack for the end of the road tour.
That's right.
You follow that, Ramsey,
That's
right?
The same thing to, get rid of her because she didn't play the game.
EOTR, big money on the line. Is Frehley going to rejoin? Is Frehley going to rejoin? This is the nexus. This is the point, the pointed thing.
Is Rachael going to allow me to put my hands on her, or is she going to tell?
Right.
Can I bring her on?
Right.
Is he going to be able to bring his wife on tour and I can touch her and she won't say anything, or what?
We do get an answer to that question, because what eventually happens is they start going out for future Gene Simmons vault appearances from Miami to Australia. For the rest of the year, they don't get rid of Rachael, and Rachael appears with Ace for Gene Simmons vault. Now, Gene Simmons vault is not Kiss, right? You know what I'm saying? That's his own business, right? Okay. Gene Simmons vault is his own shtick. You know, I've been thinking about it for 25 years. I'm going to put this together. He's had different iterations of vaults. He had big books, big, Kiss vault type books. So he's going to make money off that. And what does he need? He needs guest appearances. Bruce Kulick, Eric Singer, they were at the first one. So he's going to invite them individually at different ones. Can you come out to Kansas City? Can you come out to Miami? But always, he can't divide. He can't control someone, and he certainly can't assault someone's wife. Capiche? Right? We clear about that? Right?
Yes,
So So Rachel does appear as an employee, as a guest appearance, because she's a singer. She had her own life. She's she's a celeb too. So does she get guest appearance fees from Gene Simmons' vault and his company? The answer is no. Does she get paid from Ace Frehley to Rachael Gordon company? Yeah. No. Actually, we find out there's transactions.
Anything, like, do I get built up in my own house? Yeah.
Right. She's not even control of the cards. She's not control of anything. The only way we found out is post-separation years later, 4 years later, we see the transactions. These transactions are going on behind the scenes. Does Rachel even get minimum wage? No. Does she get anything in terms of control? No. She's told where to go 24 hours, 24/7. Be here in 5 minutes. Be here in 15 minutes. Go ahead, Rachel.
And get this shirt for me.
Go. Yeah.
Hey, did you pre-make the coffee? Why? Are your fucking arms broken?
Are your arms broken? Woken up in the morning.
Then he was being sweet. We were going to his places and we were having, a vacation. 2 weeks before July 12th, when he took off and ambushed the house, 2 weeks prior, I was on my birthday trip with him, and we were shopping, and he was buying me all these gifts. And then we come home the day after my birthday, which is on the 22nd.
You're jumping a year. You're going ahead a year.
He's taking off for a 2-week run. And I start packing our things. And he says, no, I want you to stay home and rest.
Hold on, Rachel. Rachel, before we go to that period, can we just go to Kiss Cruise? Because that's the second part of the conspiracy, okay? This is still 2018. The ICE has thought for potential, because they're going to go out on end of the road tour at the beginning of 19, okay, Ramsey? January 19th, Vancouver, all right? Vancouver's your first date on end of the road. Everybody knew that when they broke open, okay? And they're leaving, they're leaving the rock and roll industry, end of the road, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's criticized them. Is Ace back in the band? So the Ace finally, after 8 Kiss Cruises, Ace is finally going to make an appearance in 2018 on Kiss Cruise 8. I think it's 7 or 8. You know the number? Anyway, it doesn't matter. 2018 cruise. And please go through what happened there, okay? Because this is important. Ask some questions related to this. Go. Kiss Cruise, October, Halloween, 18. So they've already done the rest of the year on Gene Simmons' vault. So they get an invite to Kiss Cruise. Go ahead. Sorry, Rachel. Sorry.
We're on the Kiss Cruise. We get into our cabin. We have Jim Crowley, ex-New York cop bodyguard that we had. He had a room in our cabin. I wanted to get my hair fixed because I felt, I wanted to freshen up. He said, you've got a little bit of time, you can run down, and I made an appointment. I went into the salon, got my hair fixed, got back just early enough to walk right in and see Doc McGee paying Ace money, and I didn't know what the hell was going on except for I got the usual hi, sweetheart. Hi, darling. I did. And then the meeting ended when I walked in. I sat down. I said, what the hell's going on? Ace was flipping out, livid, praying, livid, throwing his guitars. Jim B was saying, come on, boss. Okay, come on. Or not Jim B, Jim Crowley. He was like, come on. Jim B's another guy,
Part of their
Crowley,
staff.
our bodyguard, was like, it's all right, boss. Calm down. Hey, calm down. Fuck them. And I said, what is going on? What just happened? And what's this money? Well, they paid him $100,000. And I said, why? What's this payoff stack here? What's this money?
The amount's in dispute, but okay, they paid him. Yeah. Paid him to do what?
Jim Crowley looked at me and said they paid him not to do a Q&A.
Okay.
Gene and Paul did a Q&A.
Right.
People wanted him to do a Q&A.
Right.
And they came over and they just paid him off not to do the Q&A.
Right.
I took the money in my hand and said, take this fucking money and do the Q&A anyway.
Anyway, yeah.
Fuck them.
Right.
Fuck them.
Okay, do you have a question? Because I want to just give a little context.
He said, I can't, I can't, why are you so afraid of him? I said that you wouldn't have Brazil doing this chant for you and all this. When they're chanting for you, they're not chanting for Gene and Ace. I mean, Gene and Paul. They're chanting for you.
Yeah,
I said there's people from 30 countries on this ship for you.
There's a substantial Team Ace.
You do the Q&A.
Yeah, a lot of people end up on that cruise to be Team Ace, to see Ace. Okay, right? Okay, keep going.
They paid him not to do it.
Paid him not to do the Q&A. So let me just
give. They cannot pay me not to say or do anything.
Right, they can't buy you.
Shoved his finger in my vagina. I'm sorry for being crude, but he's going to prison.
Okay, hold on one second. The context of the Kiss Cruise is that, you know, it started with goofy belly flops, right? They would judge them. Are you with me, Ramsey? Right? Do you know all this? They, you know, they would give numbers, and then it went to eventually Eric Singer doing a drum, people going up on the drums and doing some songs, and they would hold up numbers. Tommy did a guitar thing. Eventually, it started with Gene and Paul doing funny things. Gene, they literally did the control of the picks. You know, they throw picks every concert, right? So they'd have throw picks in the audience. You know, each year they'd come up with funny things. It evolves into some serious stuff. Paul does art. Paul does cooking. Gene does, I don't know, like a game show thing. You know, in the afternoons, right? The evenings are the concert or the Halloween makeup thing, gig, everything else. Everyone is allowed.
To do with my case.
Okay, but hold on one second. Hold on. It does. So one of the things they do with guests is they allow them to do real serious concerts, you know, out of makeup. You know, there's the Sail Away concert. They invite Ace when he finally arrives up for the Sail Away. You can see lots of videos on it. But one of the other things they're supposed to do is allow Ace to play. But then the third part of that, the third wing of it, is Q&A. All right? So remember, we're in 2018, Ramsey. We're in 2018 where an assault has taken place. We're before gloves are off, January 2019. It's Halloween, 31st to November 2nd, out on a boat. Technically right out of America. And they don't want Ace Frehley because it'll be broadcast within 2 minutes online. He may be even live streamed to go on about something that he shouldn't say. You with me? Or
yeah, I'm following you.
What did you do to my wife? Maybe Ace will break open an egg here, you know? And so they come to his cabin, and Rachel's coming back from doing, you know, women's stuff, her hair, her nails, whatever. And she walks in and she witnesses them. And he has now said it on Loudwire and you can watch the video. I'll send you the link to the video where he says, yeah, they paid me. Now he says 15,000. Rachel says there was more money there. That is the second part of the conspiracy. This is Open paying Frehley to keep his trap shut. Okay? So he comments on the rest of the cruise in that Loudwire interview, and he says, you know, we really didn't have a good time. The Loudwire interviewer says, would you go back out on another cruise? Because the Team Ace and all his fans and his separated fans of the Kiss Army want to know if he's going to come out again. He says, no, I really didn't. My wife didn't have a good time on the tour. You go ahead as to what happened after the bribe, how they treated you, Rachel. Maybe you can explain that.
On the cruise?
Yeah, on the cruise. What happened?
It was the usual with the Kiss people, the people that are around them.
Right.
I was instructed in the first place by Ace, as usual, and just like everywhere I went, not to go anywhere without him, really. But a couple times I did. I wanted to walk around. One time I was standing on the side of the stage, you know, I thought it was safe for me to stand there. I stood next to some bodyguards, but I made the mistake of standing next to the Kiss bodyguard. I mean, Gene and Paul
Yeah, she was followed.
Oh, can I see your ring? They just ring me everywhere I went with him. Every time I saw anyone out of it from the KISS people, they would say, the KISS people are here, and it would be anyone in the world for 12 years. And I had to answer personal questions, like what kind of car I'm driving.
Right.
How am I doing? I just see your ring. And they had two people that I saw, and the reason I figured out that they were somebody that they knew is because I saw them talking to Gene and all the people there.
So these were KISS-related people, not just fans, right?
Yeah, these two weird women that kept trying to get me to drink.
Yeah, they kept offering her drinks.
With them.
Why? Right?
And I kept saying, I don't drink. If I wanted to drink, I would get a drink.
Okay, back to that Loudwire interview.
After they asked me like 10 times, I was so tired of it. I was like, look, if I want a drink, I will get one for myself. I'm not a drinker. I don't feel like drinking. Can we see a ring one more time? Wow, you must really be loved with a ring like that. It was like, what is this? You know,
so
what's the
Ace finishes the interview on Loudwire.
And he said, God damn it, they said they won't leave you alone.
Yeah, he says, I wasn't thanked. I was never thanked by them. My wife didn't have a good time.
We weren't even greeted.
Right.
We weren't even greeted.
So they were just viewed as a help, as a stooge to be used, right? For the KISS cruise. They never were invited back. They never were thanked. They leave. And really, it's like a humiliation thing. No one ever talks to them when they get off the boat. Ace specifically mentions Paul Stanley in that Loudwire interview. I never spoke to Paul after. They do the fire and water video together.
Right.
So it's, there's a touch base there, but there's also a withdrawal. That's what I'm getting at. Okay. Right. So there's a distance there. And he comments on it this year, October 1st, in a Loudwire interview, October 1st, 2020. Okay. So anyway, the rest of the year is spent going out on Gene Simmons vaults again, right? You go all the way to Australia after that. And that's clearly on the net. And he talks about being his nickname is William Crowley.
I didn't want to go.
Gene Simmons.
I said, I don't want to go.
Gene Simmons is in Quebec City.
He said, I'm not going to go unless you go. I need you to be there with me. I can't. You make me look good. I'm not going to go. I'll cancel. I won't go. And he cried. I said, okay, I'll go. But if I'm
Australia.
tired, I want to stay in the room.
Right.
And if I don't want to go to the show and deal with everybody, then I'm going to stay in the room.
Right.
So we went. Now, by the time we're traveling, he's telling me, you better, he started referring to Gene as Uncle Gene. And
Uncle Gene.
Uncle Gene. Uncle Gene that. Uncle Gene this. Uncle Gene that.
His best friend, brother.
And, it was just a very, having to suppress, having to be silenced so long about so many things, okay? It's caused me to have such bad PTSD. And in 2019, I mean, after his first, and let me talk, after his first time he relapsed in 2018, he came back and he was so apologetic and blah, 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 blah. We moved into the new house.
Changed mansions.
We moved into the last mansion we were in. He was still apologizing to me constantly. I almost lost my wife. I almost lost my baby, my little, all the time, constant. And he's like, you're my wife. Nobody else is my wife. You're my wife. You are.
She does a great impression of Ace, by the way.
All the time. He recruited this big, Tony woman.
Oh, yes. This is where Tony enters the scene.
He recruited her.
LA guns. LA guns. She has guns. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
He recruited her, and she was then in our life almost every day. Her loaded guns in our house, constant. She wore a gun belt with 2 loaded pistols.
It's a woman.
Way out of her mind. Out of line.
Okay.
Tony, a mess. I've never seen him like that.
Rachel, you're going to yell at me again, but we have to go through gloves are off. Okay. So January, this is very important, Ramsey. Kiss is going out. They're in Vancouver. Gene does a tour interview, not just pre-Vancouver. And he says they're asked definitively, here it is, ready? Everybody start clapping. Is Ace going to rejoin the band? Gene says, no fucking way would we allow him back in. Okay. You can read the quote on Rolling Stone, right?
Right.
Okay. So Ace says the gloves are off. Maybe you're right there, Rachel. You're there when he's texting.
Covered this in the first part of the interview.
Okay, you have covered this,
Right?
correct? Ramsey?
How he did that.
Yes.
Okay, so the gloves are off, but
The interview today
I'm sorry.
talked about
Yeah, go ahead, Rachel.
about how he did that, how he made the viral statement when he saw something derogatory that Gene said about him in the press.
Mhm.
And then he said, now tell me what Gene did to you.
A year ago.
No.
A year ago. A year ago. Let me say it again. A year ago. Tell me what he did to you when the assault took place. Rachel told Ace as her husband right away what Gene did to her. Right away.
Yeah.
So he's not on trazodone. He's not on drugs. He wants to know, what did Gene actually do to you? I didn't want to hear it a year ago, but I want to use it now. The gloves are off. Because they're out there. Ace Frehley's $100,000 man when he takes the stage. Kiss is $1 million when they take the stage. He's now been denied his throne as the original lead guitarist. Fake Ace Tommy, the whole thing comes off, right? You follow what I'm getting at, Ramsey?
Yeah, I'm following.
I'm pissed. I'm a pissed ex-lead guitarist. I reformed myself, got off drugs. I haven't touched a drink. I've got a beautiful Jewish wife. Hey, Paul, guess what? She's Jewish. I'm not anti-Semitic. It all fits with a byline of I'm the good guy. Okay? Watch how fast he becomes not the good guy. Okay? So we're January 28th, 2019. About a buck and a half before Kiss takes the stage, is going to blow up Vancouver, Rogers Center in Vancouver for a massive tour. Ace Frehley is nowhere to be seen or heard of in that sense. And he has to address that when he drives away and goes out and goes to the airport to go back on his $100,000 man tour with Rachel. You with me?
Yeah, I'm following.
Right?
More than that, but
Well, we won't get into all the details because I love the accounting, okay? I love the accounting more than anybody. I love 500 pages.
okay.
Just hold on one second. I am going to speak. 500 pages of accounting that clearly shows the man set up a fake account,
More than that.
okay?
More than
Right?
that.
To defraud her, to use her, and to violate her rights in terms of any knowledge of this. Yes, he did forge her signature. Yes, he did commit felony fraud on the record.
Not only that, when he took off in 2013, he still had my card.
And we found out.
The bank still it was overdrawn so that my credit is
Right.
due.
He ruins her credit. This is going into 19. He may be making public statements, the gloves are off. But you know that get rid of her, right? Okay. That he declares to Rachel in 18. He's crying for the whole year, not just for one day, 1 week, 1 month, right? This isn't the Friends theme song here. He's going to put some sort of plan into action because he still believes he can swing those guitar strings and strap into the band. You with me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of my own fucking, he took over Gene's band. That gave him new life. That gave him new life. He took over Gene's band, gets rid of guys who have been supporting him give a little bit of a list of the guys who've been supporting him. Richie, right? Richie Scarlett, the drummer, everybody. Richie Scarlett's wife was someone he dated.
Gene's the one that told him. Gene told him flat out, fire Richie.
Gene tells him to fire Richie.
He's the one that said, you hire this band, hire my band, hire these guys, and fire the other guys. Here's his friend Ricky, who he's known and loved for years and years. Richie's wife died, who was awful. And what does Ace do? He takes orders from Gene, fires Richie after his wife died.
Which Ace dated. Ace dated her.
He tells him to do all this shit. Who does Gene Simmons think he is?
Right. So we also have Ace saying in other radio interviews that Gene told him to name his album Spaceman. You should name your album Spaceman, he says in a radio interview in New York.
Any imagination,
right?
And no imagination.
And he follows Gene's not suggestion, direction. Of course, his book was my idea. The title was my idea. Sorry, I gotta laugh at that title because we always knew Ace Frehley as Space Ace, not Spaceman. Spaceman's Tommy Thayer. You with me? Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. This is fact. This is KISS, not lore. This is fact. And so we have Gene Simmons, according to Ace, this is all self-disclosed, that they're down in Miami, and he said I had some sort of name like 22 years later, or from his original solo album, how great it was. It's outsold everybody else. He was going to go with that name, and he says that the fans were kind of lukewarm to this title, and then Gene said in a big booming microphone voice, "You should name the album Spaceman." If that's not the puppet and the strings, what is? Right?
Right.
No, we have him assaulting his wife, covering it up, telling him to get rid of the wife. This is someone who's outside of the band. So as much as he's distance away, it doesn't matter. They're always in contact. It's his best and only friend, Gene Simmons. This is Ace saying this is what Gene says. Right? Radio interviews in New York City. I'll be happy to share them with you. I'll be happy to share the second that he says it, okay? Constantly calling Rachel his wife. Now he denies it. You know, you can't have your cake and eat it too, but you can't blatantly, pathologically lie your way out of this.
Now, going forward, it seems like he's doing a lot to.
From my birthday, 2 weeks before he walked out.
Okay, we're in 19, heading to June.
Tell me.
Go ahead, Rach.
Okay, I mean, in 2019, I have cards from Valentine's Day and for my birthday. For my birthday, 2 weeks before, he ambushes the house with the bodyguards and has Tony in front of my girlfriend and her little daughters of 8 and 10 years old, right in front of him.
Yeah, this is the actual ambush,
Tony,
July
3
12th.
fists in my face and grit her teeth with her guns on her side.
Yeah.
I think she's going to shove a gun up my ass, and if I move or say one word, she's going to lay me out on the floor right there. She'll kill me right there in my house.
Okay.
Grit their teeth, go, I'm waiting for this. My girlfriend's daughters are screaming and crying in horror.
Right.
Little girls that came over to meet my husband to think I'm Aunt Fairy Princess. Came over, and this is what they saw.
So they have an annual trip.
For my birthday. I have cards for that birthday. 2 weeks prior to that. I'm looking at it right now. Dear Pluto, I will always love you, and I need you to hold my hand for the rest of my life. It goes on and on and on.
So this is around June 24th.
I'm going to hold your hand for the rest of time. Love your rabbit. Because I call them Cougar and I call them Rabbit.
Right. So this is their little names.
In 2009, I said to him, I will hold your hand for the rest of your life because I said you'll never be lonely again. That was his thing. He doesn't like to be alone. When I saw him, I said, I'm going to hold your hand the rest of my life. So whenever he did something wrong or bad or whenever we were you know, having a tender moment or whatever, he would always, always, always say, "Are you still going to hold my hand the rest of my life? You promise, you promise, you promise." And then he starts saying he's going to hold my hand the rest of his life. Well, I'm on someone's couch in a remote part of town.
Yeah.
I have no money to eat. There's a COVID virus. I don't have money to live. And some of the fans are like, "Well, can't you just move on?" I'm a singer and an artist.
Right.
And
In COVID. In
I
COVID.
didn't have one single minute, one single half an hour in 12 years to learn some sort of trade to rely on just in case he, in his 60s, decided to have my life threatened and take off.
Okay.
Without helping me.
In the period that Ace disappears, trazodone disappearance, February, March 18, Rachael immediately frees herself in some way and goes up to, gets an invite, a second invite after trying to be dragged to Catalina Island to potentially be knocked off, to be whacked. She goes up to with Ken Sharp.
Catalina Island.
Yeah, get up with Ken Sharp and a producer to produce her album. Okay, this is back to 18. So the first thing Rachael tries to do to free herself from this. Yeah, go ahead, Rachael. Sorry.
As soon as I said his friend Buddy, Senza, smart guy who lost all.
I need to give a backstory.
Sorted away his millions. I don't know what he really did, but Ace was always flying him out to stay at our house, and that was Uncle Buddy. Okay. Well, Uncle Buddy was all of a sudden calling me when in 2018, whole time Ace was gone, calling me, "You have a hit on you."
You have a hit on you.
Until he was raising his voice at me, saying, "You're going to get whacked."
We have a picture of Buddy with Ace.
Listen,
just the
call
two.
John, tell him to get in the business account and get your ass to Catalina, and you're going to relax there, and I want you to go by yourself, and you call me when you get there. I knew that if I went to Catalina Island, I would not have come home. They would have pulled the Marilyn Monroe on me, and I would not have come home.
Yeah.
And I said, "No, I'm not going there. I'm not going to go there at all. I'm not leaving the house. Tell them to come get me."
Yeah, she's in a guarded community, so she's not going anywhere.
So then right after I absolutely refused, after days, to go, to agree with Buddy. And he's like, "I admire your balls, Poodle, but you're going to get killed. You got a hit on you. They're going to fucking kill you." Okay, then I get a call from Ken Sharp.
Ken Sharp, the Kiss. Do you know who Ken Sharp is,
I had
Ramsey?
no idea that he worked for Kiss. No idea at all that he worked
Ken Sharp, the author of many Kiss books. Okay, you with me so far?
I knew he was a journalist, and I knew he was a rock journalist. I didn't know that he worked for Kiss.
Yeah,
And all of a
his
sudden he
primary
called me
income
and
is
said,
Kiss.
"Look, drive up here and let's record an album. I've got a bunch of songs that I haven't done anything with, and let's record. You'll get your mind off everything." And he had to talk me into it for days. I wouldn't do it. And finally, I did. And I was told some weird thing was going on in LA, and I said, "Well, we were going to record at the guitar player's house in Reseda." Well, but I had to get a hotel for some reason that was like 40 minutes outside of Reseda.
Yeah,
And when
no
I got
hotel
there, I
close
just had
by.
this weird feeling. To call a girlfriend of mine. I don't know why. I just did. And I called a girlfriend of mine and I said, "Hey, you want to come up and stay at this hotel with me? I'm up here recording." And she drove right up. I have a feeling that if she hadn't have driven up and if I would have been by myself, I wouldn't be here now. I think there were several attempts.
So it's a theory, but the theory is that they tried to pull her through Ace out to Catalina Island. That didn't work. So they pulled her by getting her out of San Diego to pull her up to LA to do a recording of an album that they knew she'd want to do. Do you follow that, Ramsey? Right?
Yes.
So, and then there's no convenient hotel.
Get her out so she doesn't call the police. Get her out so she doesn't make any noise about this.
Right.
She is busy.
She
is not engaging with her lawyers.
This is Ken Sharp. Ken Sharp is not a nobody. Ken Sharp is one of the primary writers of Kiss books. This is Ken Sharp calling her, right? You follow what I'm saying? Gene. This is Gene. This is one of Gene's minions.
Absolutely scared to death right now.
He's co-opted.
Don't mention me.
He's co-opted Andrew Scambati, the Mr. Speed drummer, When I went to Niagara Falls for the 7-Eleven event, Andrew Scambati's there, and Scambati was a drummer in a Kiss Trip, and all of a sudden he's working for Gene. Money talks, bullshit walks, okay? So you have someone, he's co-opting Ken Sharp, and he's pulling Rachel, who he assaulted, all the way up to LA. What's going on here? Okay, the lure is the album, but stay in this hotel that's 45 minutes outside, way far away from Reseda. I had to do the square box Wikipedia to understand Reseda. It's a square box, okay, of LA. And, you know, it's at someone's house, you know, like it's all, this is in the 60 days that Ace has disappeared. You follow all this, right? It's really interesting. This is only taking place less than 60 days after the assault. Draw your own conclusions, right? Is it innocent? Mm-hmm. Maybe, maybe not.
Well,
maybe not.
When Ace came home, and I told him, and he was all crying and
Ace, and everything. This is interesting too.
My wife, I almost lost my poodle. Oh, please forgive me, please. I'm not worthy of you. I'm not good enough for you. I'm not, you know, you're too good for me. No, crying and crying. And I told him days later, I had an honest son. I was healing his skin was broken out. I was making him food, rehydrating him, everything. I told him what Buddy did.
Buddy, his buddy from
Buddy
where the house burned down in Westchester County. You can look that up, 2013. I think October, November. Buddy's the only one left in the house, okay, in one of the side houses. But anyway, go ahead. Buddy, back to Buddy. Sorry, I interrupted you.
He did. And he went into his office and started screaming on the phone at Buddy. He thought I couldn't hear him. He was going, "You motherfucker, who told you to tell that to Poodle?"
Really good imitation.
Tell Poodle that she had a fucking hit on her, that she was going to get whacked. Nobody told you to do that. I didn't give you orders.
Right.
I didn't give you orders. I'm not sending you out here anymore.
Hear that?
I ain't fucking doing it. I ain't doing you any fucking favors. You fucked up. You fucked up. You told Poodle to fucking go to Catalina Island. You think she's stupid? She's fucking telling me you were calling her. Nobody gave you orders to fucking tell her.
Wow.
Loud and clear, Ramsey. Loud and clear. From Ace himself, screaming at Buddy after he came back. Okay, so let's roll into 19. Okay, so we roll into an annual trip into Palm Beach. Rachel's being given gifts. She's told after the birthday trip, "You're not going out on tour with me." He's heading to New York City and he's heading to Massachusetts. This is all tracked. You can look at it on acefrehley.com. He still has his tour up. You can look just past June 25th, 2019. You can see where he goes. He ends his about a 10 city, well, 8 to 10 city little tour. He tells Rachel, "You're not going." Go ahead, Rachel. Why are you not going out on tour with him after your birthday?
Well, there's a few reasons. I had still been decorating that mansion that we moved into.
Yeah, new house.
We weren't completely happy with that mansion, and we fell in love with one that was one mansion, one property down. We went and looked at it a few times, and Ace told me that he sealed the deal on it.
Buy it?
You know, and we wanted to move in there for a lot of reasons. We didn't like the lake on the property at the mansion at 6515, where I was assaulted.
This is key, Ramsey.
We didn't like the lake. We wanted a tennis court instead. There's a lot of things going on that the other house had was better suited for us, we thought. And we were excited about it. And he said, "Do you love it?" Because we were going to get married in the yard.
Here we go.
In the yard, on the property.
Here's the bombshell.
And so he said, "Do you love it?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Then we're going to get married here. This is perfect." So what we'll do is when I get back from the tour, we're going to get married here.
Marriage. Do you hear
I
that?
thought I was going.
12 years.
Now I've been.
Go ahead.
I thought I was going on the tour, so I started packing us. He said, "No, I want you to get home. We're going to be moving into that house. I sealed the deal. It's a done deal. And it's going to be rough. I said, rough tour? How? I don't understand. You know, we always stay in 5-star hotels and stuff. Now what? So I called one of the roadies when he's not paying attention. I called Pat. Pat said, what do you mean rough tour? How's it going to be rough?
Rough tour, yeah. It's going to be a rough tour to New York and Massachusetts.
I just figured, you know, so I didn't feel good about it. I went, oh no, this is another bad. He's relaxed. I knew he was already. I found trazodone next to the bed a couple times. I said, what's this? I thought you stopped taking it. You know, he just jumped down my throat. So I knew he'd relapse again. And all he needed was to go somewhere without me, because if he did, John was going to jump right on board like 2018, get some chick involved, some low life, and it was going to be disastrous.
This is after he's saying we're going to get married in the new property.
Okay, so anyway, so he comes home, blasted. He went to his, and then I said, "Are you bringing your suitcase in?" I've never seen him like this. His eyes were darting around. He was like grinding his teeth, you know, like really like nervous and grinding his teeth, and his eyes were looking all around, darting all around. He wouldn't stay still. He wouldn't look at me. And Tony was like right by his side.
The bodyguard.
Bring him in the house. You're tired from tour. You got to come in. We got to put you to bed. I've been getting these texts from him. I'm almost home. I love you. I want to watch a Doris Day movie. I'm coming home to my pool. And he comes in the house with Tony and tells me I got to go to my daughter's and stay with her for a couple of days. I said, what's going on? She got robbed. I said, what do you mean she got robbed? It's a gated condo. Where's her birthday? It's not her birthday. It was just her birthday. It's this and she's strung out again. I got to go up there. I got to take care of her. She's strung out again. I got to go. They were gone. 5 minutes later, boom, they were gone. He took off. Tony took off right after him. Boom, boom. That was it. Through the gate. So then I started getting these texts from him. You know, that he's going to come home. He's going to come home. And then he misses me. He loves me. I'll be home Friday. He's gone for a few days.
Oh, okay, okay. This is new, Ramsey. This is new.
I said, you need to come home and relax. You haven't even been home since you got home from your tour. You came home. You went up straight up to your daughter's. You told me she was strung out. You got to get home.
Yeah.
You got to relax now. You know, you can't do this. And
cupcakes.
He's like, I miss you. I love you. I love you. I love you. So with the day that he's on his way home on July 12th,
July 11th.
my girlfriend Liz comes over.
July 11th.
She comes over with her 2 little girls. Her little girls are about 8.
Thursday, July 11th.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Rachel. Sorry, I was just
Let me talk. Don't talk over me.
Okay, okay.
It's
Sorry.
stressful enough, please. My girlfriend comes over with her little daughters to go in the pool. It's a nice day. We're swimming. I'm getting texts from Ace all day that he's on his way home, that he loves me. He misses me. He can't wait to come home to get in our own bed and all this and relax. And I couldn't wait to introduce, Liz was over. Liz, stayed the night. And again, it must be some sort of sixth sense that I had to have Liz come over. I don't know. Anyway, Liz and I and her daughters went to the store. I got some cupcakes for him. We got some favorite foods for him. I stocked all the refrigerators with his sample iced tea, everything. And all of a sudden, I'm getting texts. He's on his, he'll be here in 20 minutes. A little bit. Her girls are jumping around the house. They wanted to meet the man I'm with. Well, all of a sudden, they just ambush in, and they're all going. Chris, some guy, I don't even know who, is pulled a truck over by the garage. I hear the garage door opening from the other side of the house. They're all starting out, like
Stunned.
leave his office to see what everyone's doing. And I was obstructed in the doorway by Tony. Tony leapt after me with her fist. In back of her was Ace's daughter. They obstructed it so I couldn't get out. And that's when Tony put her fist up and grit her teeth. And my girlfriend's little daughters were back of her crying like they were seeing a horror movie. And Tony said, just say one fucking word, bitch. You just move. You just open your fucking mouth. I've been waiting to do this forever. You just open your mouth. I'll lay you out right here. I'll kill you right here.
I will kill you right here.
And I was like, oh my God. I was like, Tony. And I said, you guys have to, everyone get out of here. Everyone get out of here. Me and Ace have to talk. Telling the bodyguards and telling Tony and telling her daughter, leave us alone. We have to talk. Okay? All of a sudden, some little tiny, like, police officer comes through the gate. One guy about my height. Tony and the daughter get him aside and start talking to him. Tony's got her gun. She comes, this guy cop walks into the house. I was saying, please help me. Please help me. And started telling him what's going on. My girlfriend's running around trying to get her daughters, trying to get them so they can't see anything, trying to get them in the car so they can not see this horrible Manson attack. The police officer, this little tiny guy, walks in the house. He looks at me and he says, sorry, Mrs. Frehley, I can't do anything to help you.
It's an eviction, they say. Don't worry, to the cop on the side. Any questions about that, Ramsey? Any questions you have?
Screaming. I mean, I was so horrified. They were out, gone. The next day I noticed all the surveillance cameras. I couldn't notice by the bed. I couldn't see any angles of the house. I went outside and noticed that they were all snipped with scissors and thrown on the porch, on the grass, on the property, so that I couldn't see the gates or the front door or any of the doors or any of the sides of the property or anything. I sat and cried and couldn't move and couldn't eat and couldn't think. I couldn't do anything for days and days and days. I mean, I was on 6 acres. I was in a huge mansion full. We were moving. I mean, I couldn't. I can't tell you the terror of it. I cannot tell you the terror of it. I can't. Nobody would ever even understand or know. So he calls me and says I got to kind of pick up a few things that I didn't get. He only picked up things when they ambushed the house. All they did was get stuff out of his drum room that he had and his studio, and left it a complete, like a tornado hit it, with cords everywhere and floors emptied, pulled out and thrown. I have to see all the pictures of it. It was a nightmare. He calls me, I don't know, 4 days later or something, and says I need to pick something up. I said, you're not coming back here. No way. No way. I've got all the texts and everything still. I said, you're not coming back here after that. No way. And he said, I need to come back and this and this and this. So I called someone to come up and find and be in the house while he was, and I told the lawyer I had, and I said, okay. And he came up and just sort of, he was loaded out of his mind. He kept going in the bathroom, all the different bathrooms. We had 7 bathrooms. Using bathrooms for 15 minutes at a time, and then walking out, staring out the bedroom, the master bedroom doors and windows, crying. He'd walk into the closet and not get anything. And I would come in there and try to put my arms around him and say, what are you doing? What is this? What is this attack? What are you doing to yourself? You could die. He wouldn't answer me. I said, if you're going to take your clothes, take your clothes. He wouldn't answer me. He'd say, I'll get him in due time. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I said, what are you doing to me? And then he twisted that's when he came over to me in the closet on his side, twisted my hands and my wrists behind my back and said, if you say one fucking thing about our personal life, about any of this to anybody, it'll be the last thing you ever do. That's what he always said when he was mad. The last thing you ever fucking do. With that, I had my friend who was on the other side of the house serve him.
This is after the 12th, right? This was a subsequent.
Then he gets the restraining order, and I start getting these calls, and he said, "Get this off. This is on me.
Yeah.
Get fucking off me."
Yeah.
And my lawyer said I'll call him, and I'm going to explain to him that he can no longer contact me. you know,
In Palm
and
Beach.
I'll join you, and I'll come to live there, and we'll retire in Palm Springs, and we'll shop, and we'll gamble, and we'll have a wonderful time, et cetera, et cetera. In other words, he wanted to do what he wanted, and then he wanted to get me a place and then come there when he was done. He laughed again, and then that's what it looks like to me.
Ramsey, you got any questions?
After that restraining order that he's not allowed to get a hold of me, all of a sudden I'm ignored, and that's it, and I've got nowhere to live and no money, and he wanted zero.
Right.
And I have the most horrifying, scary things that happened to me since. He called me months ago. He called me months ago and said he missed me and wanted to take me to dinner. And I said, wait a minute. I said, he said, no, I'm waiting for you. I'm calling. I want to know if I can take you to
2020, September.
I said, what? What? I said, why? What are you talking about? It's not like what you're doing to me. What? I still was like, what are you doing to me? And he said, I can see it's just an argument. And he said, well, you're doing everything yourself. And I was put a restraining order on me. I said, you had it live. I said, she's done it. She's done it. And prior to that, like when I was still I was in the mansion for like, how long, Robert?
Which mansion? 65?
Well, I was ambushed. The last mansion we lived in.
Well, I think it's under a year.
Yeah, but I mean, after the restraining order was put on him, he called. He said, your life is going to become very, very difficult for you from now on.
Yeah.
Click. Now, after we go to trial over the restraining order, and he has it lifted, even though all the violence was admitted in the court.
Yeah.
Even the recording, his daughter and body and Tony.
We're losing your connection even on the phone, Rachel. A little bit, it's chipping, which is internet based, Ramsey.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Ramsey, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just listening.
Do you have any quick questions? Anything that strikes you that was covered or not covered?
Yeah, I mean, right now it kind of almost seems like Ace is trying to erase you. I mean, in recent interviews, he doesn't mention you by name. He says, I shouldn't even mention her. He even re-recorded the track that you guys did together on his new album with his new girlfriend.
Yeah, that's actual action that he did. Rachel, you got anything to say to that?
What did you just say? I'm sorry. Can you repeat yourself? I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, what I was saying is that it seems that like Ace is actually trying to erase you from his history. I mean, in interviews now, he doesn't refer to you by name. He says he shouldn't even mention you. He even had the song that you guys did together. He re-recorded your voice with his new girlfriend to cut you out of that.
Yeah,
I don't know what that's about. I think that's like a 9-year-old, thing to make me mad or be. It's like a weird.
Well,
it just seems childish to me, beyond childish. It's just, like
No. I think Ramsey is on the right path here. That's erasing someone's identity, erasing them from their life, that they can somehow change the past. But it goes further than that, Ramsey. On October 1st in the Loudwire interview, he says that he signed a document contradicting himself, his own words, himself contradicting self-contradiction, that anything happened, that gloves are off was just a figment of his own imagination, right? So he goes further than that, than just erasing. He even contradicts himself. He erases, he attempts to erase his own statements. Yeah, we can hear you, Rachel. Can you hear us? Ramsey?
Hello?
I can hear Rachel. Rachel, can you hear us?
It sounds like she's adjusting something in the car. Rachel, can you hear us? Hello? She might be overwhelmed too. Rach, you okay? I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, did I lose her? The phone went out, Ramsey.
Hopefully it wasn't one of Ace's.
Yeah. There's been cars at the place in Hamul where she was staying. There was cars at in Chula Vista. There she is there. Here. Sometimes her phone goes like that. I'm telling you.
I don't know what happened.
Yes,
Can you guys hear me?
it's called San Diego. I'm convinced of that. There's Mexicans
There's nothing
interfering.
wrong with San Diego at all.
Yes, there is. I can point to a lot of things, including Newsom. He'll be gone pretty soon.
Hey, at least it's not a communist country. I can say that for it.
Well, you know, there is erasure. There is no freedom of speech. There's a hell of a lot going on here in terms of civil liberties. A hell of a lot.
Yeah.
Rachel.
Anyway, let's get on with the situation.
Sure. I mean, you know, there's more to it than beyond even into the fall of 19. Since the court hearing, you're right. He's actively engaged in a campaign of erasure head or something, you know, in terms of what he is claiming about Rachel. It doesn't add up with the facts, and it contradicts his own words. Every interview that he's done in the past, you can replay if you know what I'm saying, right? All the way back to Paul Stanley. You know, what do you mean I'm anti-Semitic? I'm with a Jewish gal. And then you contrast that with keep your Jewish mouth shut. And then the audio that we have, yeah, that Rachel has about Jews in New York, you know, we're up in Niagara Falls area. We get all kinds of people who visit from the city, as the term goes, and they come with communities that are Jewish, and we welcome them. We don't treat anybody differently. Ace does. At the end of their relationship, he threatened her with Chingaling Gang, and Chingaling Gang in New York City. By the way, I thought it was an M13 gang, like in LA, Chingaling. Right. It's actually an old East Coast New York City gang that was heavily anti-Semitic. I had to research it.
They're really horrible.
Yeah, they're really horrible gang that had anti-Semitic tones. So, you know, this all fits. That's what I'm saying. You put your two hands together with your fingers and you go like this, like a house, and it all fits, you know? So like Ace can't really run away from his past, including that old video from '93. I'm going to knock her teeth out. Give me her name. Let's identify her. Let's get my father-in-law involved. You know, all of this fits. And Paul and Jean, hearing 1/10 of it, would probably go, you know what? This is a nice partnership as a band, but I don't want to know you, right? Ace Frehley, you're not going to get in the band. So, you know, we have someone who's left.
This man that I was with for 12 years, who told me that he would protect me and hold my hand for the rest of my life, and I would never have anything to worry about, has not only completely abandoned me, but he texted me that Chingaling thing. I don't even know who they are. He texted me and said,
I had to research
it. Play hardball with me. He said, if you're going to play hardball with me, he said, you better not forget. He said that I'm an official member of the Chingaling.
Official member.
Logo. And I was like, what is that?
Gee.
And I had to look it up. It was such a nightmare.
Gene's chairman of the board, his best friend of Kiss Catalog, and he's a member of Chingaling. So we're getting some clear pictures here, right? You know, I do know what he did. I do know what the actions he took. We do have bank account records. We certainly have audio recordings of him. There's lots of statements along the way here, and him trying to avoid anything and hiding in the quote, the mountains of New Jersey towards Pennsylvania ain't going to work. It ain't going to fly. He has to be.
It's not going to fly for Gene either.
It's not just accountability, it's atonement.
Robert and I just talked just the other
Yeah, let's bring it up to date. We're going to break some things here with you. Okay, Ramsey?
Sure.
Let's bring it up to date. So, you know, lawsuits are filed. As you may or may not know, legally, you can enter into private negotiation pre-lawsuit, if you follow what I'm saying, right? So in the period that's, you know, we'll call it generally Halloween to Christmas, but let's call it, you know, December, just for fun, okay? We reached out to McGee because McGee initially did, it's out of my wheelhouse. We have recordings, you know, a little bit further down the line. Our first contact was not really recorded.
The other day.
Just hear me for a second.
Last week.
Yeah.
Last week we talked to him.
Yeah, last week, sure. You know, Doc is Doc's from New Jersey. He's managed bands. He's managed, you know, one of the things, if you go back in the video back to Kisteria, it's called Kisteria. Kiss did a thing in 08, 09, around the time that Ace hooked up with Rachael here. You know, around that time, you have McGee yelling and screaming about nefarious things like Paul's missing art in Australia on thing. But there's a constant theme, and he says it. You guys are fuck ups. Excuse me for saying that. You guys are you mess up everything, and you expect me as a manager to deal with all your crap. Okay, that's a theme. Do you follow what I'm saying? So, you know, related to Ace, there's very hard tack recorded statements of Doc saying to Ace, you can be replaced. This is back in Reunion. Rewind the tape, right? Back to 98 to 2002, Reunion, Psycho Circus, their final farewell, the four of them. And, you know, Ace is not doing his normal Ace routine where he's not showing up. But McGee is there. Doc McGee is there, and so is Tommy. And Tommy's a road manager. And, you know, eventually they end up, you know, fake Ace dressing up Tommy. But that's a serious thing. There's money on the table. Tommy can play the licks. Tommy's a guitarist. He actually imitated Ace in a trip band in LA, outside of Black and Blue, actually before Black and Blue. And so, you know, I listened to some of his licks even back then. He's not bad. He can do the gig, right? So you look at it, and Paul and Gene, and you know, they have Gene has, again, another employee, right? Gene has Tommy doing that whole routine. But where we're leading to is that Doc is a guy who will be blunt and frank, right? To them. You can look at it. So we get Tommy on, we get Doc on the phone, and we say, listen, you know, it ends up coming down to two letters, Ramsey, it, okay? Remember that word. And remember Bill Clinton, and I'm going to make a wider, you know, sort of broader thing here, comment. And it's worthwhile listening to this part, because actually I'm going to discuss it with them, is what he says. So what's it? What's he saying when he says, I'm going to discuss it with them? Is it?
Not only that, what about
just,
when he said,
hold on.
I didn't even know that this was, he had to, like, he didn't even know that I had no home. And no
when it's been well known, not only has Rachael done things online, there's been discussions even for over a year that Rachel's in a desperate situation.
No money, and no place to live during
COVID, she got COVID evicted, you know, et cetera, from September 21.
That was my job. That's my love. That was my job.
Right.
And I can't even have a house.
Your job is me. Right.
We
So,
gotta get their shit together.
right. So,
We got enough fraud sitting here on the fucking table.
okay.
Put it away alone. My attorneys were like, leave the fraud alone. It's gonna fucking.
Right. Just the fraud alone, of defrauding her of her account, her identity, ruining her credit, all that kind of stuff. Now, remember, do they really know all the details of what Ace was doing in his life? No, but they do know he's an F up. Okay. And so that discussion about, you know, it's impinging upon us. You remember the April 13, 2018, by the way. Okay. Just in case Gene is listening to this. We know the date, Gene. where Ace goes up and visits with them, and he thinks he's going to get that end of the road contract. You know, they say, no, you need to get rid of it. Get rid of her. Now, the it wasn't Rachel, by the way, in this conversation with Doc. The it was, yes, I remember it took place. Just hold on, Rachel. I remember it took place. Okay, you follow that?
Yeah, I'm following.
It is the meeting that we discussed. Yes, I remember it took place, and I will bring it up to them again. It.
We have a recording of this.
Yeah, I mean, Doc admits that the meeting took place. Yes, I remember that meeting. That is the it. The it wasn't the problem, or Rachel it, or Rachel the problem. The it was in reference to, yep, I remember that meeting, because we have two versions of this meeting. One says Doc wasn't even there. Guess who contradicted it? Doc himself. So this is breaking news, okay? Doc says, yeah, I was there, I remember, but I came in halfway during the meeting. So the first half of the meeting is, the first half of the meeting, because Ace thought that Doc would be there because Doc is the manager for KISS, and, you know, contracts, if they're going to be discussed, is going to come through Doc's office. You with me, right?
Yep.
So the first part of the meeting, so there is no second part of the meeting where contracts are going to be discussed for Frehley to play some sort of role in KISS in the future. There is no second part. It's, hey, buddy, get rid of her. Then we may talk about you.
The first thing they told him was, we know she has a lawyer. We know she has a lawyer.
Right. This is Gene and Paul with Ace.
Get rid of her now.
No Doc. No management. You don't need an employee.
We know she has lawyers. And they said, they were whispering poodle. And I said, what's that mean? They said, they were whispering. That means they mean business. I went, what?
Paul's family, he has 4 or 5 kids now and a wife. Apparently they were there, and so they went over to the kitchen area, and whispering took place. And by the way, in Kisteria.
No, that's not what he said at all. He didn't
Okay, go ahead.
Nothing being there. He just said, they whispered in the house, which was that meaning that they meant business.
Okay. But I'm giving a little bit of color to it, right? Okay. Because I'm referencing Kisteria, the video where they have a sandwich discussion in Paul's kitchen. Gene and Paul. Okay. So it sounds very much like the sandwich discussion that they have with each other about going out in Kisteria to do further tours in Australia. So there is a whispering conversation that takes place. Now, was Doc there? We're not 100% sure, but Doc describes.
Yes, he told me he was there.
Okay. But there was some controversy as to what he was there and whether or not he played any role in this. Okay. But they definitely said to Ace, she's retained a lawyer. You need to get rid of her.
And get rid of her now.
So is that a bribe to play a future role in the band? You follow what I'm saying, right?
Right.
Like, what are they saying to Ace? It's, you know, what is their real intention here?
He said, they want me to kill my poodle. They want me to hurt you, poodle, and I don't want to hurt my poodle.
Okay.
And he cried.
Rachel, I actually have to ask you, are you sure that he said kill? They want me to kill?
No, he said.
Not
he said
Bill, not overbill, kill.
Hurt, and he said kill. Kill. K-I-L-L.
Okay.
Does everybody want to hear it again?
Sure.
They want me to hurt my poodle. They want me to kill my poodle. I don't want to hurt my poodle. Ooh, that's what he cried, holding on to me. And I said, what did you say? He goes, I just got in my car and left. I just left. I was like, okay. I sat up all night, freaked out. While he sobbed and fell asleep and took whatever he took, I was awake, with a nervous breakdown. Like, what? So, and he's going around telling people, yeah, I wasn't invited on the end of the road tour. They didn't want to be around Rachel. Yeah, Gene didn't want to be around me so much that he manhandled me, and he sexually assaulted me twice and told me I was an angel, that I could be the devil. That's how much he hated me. He hated me so much he wanted to put his finger inside of me. He hated me when he found out that I was not going to allow that to happen. That I'm going to tell.
Sorry, someone was at our door, but anyway, I missed some of that. Do you have any questions, Ramsey?
Right now, I'm just listening to everything that's unfolding in front of me. Now you mentioned that you spoke with Doc. Was there a?
Yeah, we left it off as I'm raising it with them. They'll get back to you.
He said, I'm going to talk to them. And he said something about, I'm going to tell them what to do, and I'm sure they'll do it.
We do have a
Whatever
tape of
that
it, so
means.
we'd have to review.
Whatever that means.
Say that again. What was your recollection?
Remember? We've got it recorded.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to them. What was the second part?
All of it in court.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to them.
Recording every bit of it, especially the recording of Gene's crooked lawyer screaming at me that no one's going to listen to me.
Yeah.
And then he's going to call everyone I know and threaten them and scare them.
Rachel, really quickly, what was the second part that Doc said? I'm going to talk to them.
Something like, I'm going to talk to them about, I'm going to talk to them about it.
About it. And I'm
sure they'll listen or something like that. I'm sure they'll, do it, or I'm sure they'll listen or something like that.
This was.
It was having to do with him giving them orders, and then they're going to take.
Yeah, the context of this is help us with some housing here, okay, because of her situation, right?
I said, Doc, I have no place to live.
Yeah.
Not only did Ace do all this to me, and not only was I sexually harassed by forcefully by Gene Simmons, but I also am without a home in the middle of this thing, being tortured by these guys like we're in a third world, like we're in a Muslim country.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
They've done every single thing to me but light me on fire.
It plays through.
To live and no money to live on.
It plays through to Rachel 2018 and Gene's lawyer. Being an employee of GeneSimmonsVault.com in an appearance sense. Okay, you follow what I'm saying?
Right.
So Rachel is not just a prop, like a standee or something that they set up and go, hey, there's Rachel. No, she's a real person that showed up in all over the world, from Miami to Australia, through Ace's company. And by the way, he set up a company.
Well, that I'm the best thing that's ever happened to him.
Yeah, and they knew about her.
Ace didn't get me off some stripper pole.
Right. And Ace did dozens of interviews. I'm sober, I'm talented, I'm back. You know these type of interviews, right? Like he's constantly doing publicity up until this point, and it all gets effed up, if I can say this, by Gene coming down and assaulting Rachel. And it goes sideways. And then next thing you know, they're conspiring, like they've done with multiple women in the past, get rid of her. Well,
You know what it feels like to me?
There's an exchange
there. While I talk here as a victim, I need to talk.
Mm-hmm.
It feels to me like it was they were hanging this, dangling it like a carrot, dangling it like this reunion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, Ace relapses because he's a nervous wreck. He's like, I got to get back into that costume.
Right.
I got to do this. I got to do that. He's freaking out.
They learn of that.
These guys just snap their fingers and he jumps.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I happen to know for a fact that Ace has been abused like nobody's business.
Okay.
By the original manager, by Bill Aucoin. Who I wanted to love. I wanted to love him from everything I've heard. But I've heard nightmare stories.
There's some real bad stories there.
That Ace has been their cash cow and their little paid chimp and all that since they started. So they always have him, like they snap their fingers and he jumps.
Right. He took drugs to get out of it in a way.
So it felt to me when Gene came up to the house, Ace knew Gene already put his hands on me. Mm-hmm. I think that when Gene wanted to come up to the house, Ace felt like he had no choice but to go, okay, and sacrifice
Bigger conspiracy.
Sealing his life up
Mhm.
if it's going to get him into the reunion.
Okay.
Come on up.
I need to.
When Gene came up to our house, he stood there and looked at me like he's never even seen a woman in his life.
Okay.
I'm standing there in sundress, barefoot, going, okay, well, how long are you going to stand there and stare at me? You're going to come in?
Right.
You're going to stand here by the fountain and you're going to stare at me. I felt like that, you know? But I was a lady and I was like, hi, yeah, come in. Even though I didn't want to look at him at all. I was like sickened by the fact that Ace would even allow him to come over to the house.
Yeah.
He
Gene,
put his hands on me at the Capitol building. It freaked me out.
there's a picture we're going to send you that's Gene Simmons on the left, Rachel in the middle, and Ace on the right. And they tower over Rachel. Okay? Right? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I had heels on then too. I'm only 5'5", but I had platforms on at platform heels
At the Capitol.
At the Vault Experience.
Yeah.
At the Capitol. So that's like I had 8-inch heels on there. I'm 5'5". So when I was at the house, when Gene came up and
you're
did what he did to me the second time and sexually assaulted me by force and reached his left arm around me in the patio area, I was barefoot with a sundress over my bikini.
right.
He did it so slick, it was like he did it every day.
Right.
It was
Okay.
like something they just
Okay.
reached over and did every day.
I want to get to the words.
He reached over and like an octopus, put his left arm all the way around me real quickly under my dress, down into the front of my bikini bottoms, and his fingers shoved right up inside me.
Right.
And I couldn't move. I tried to shrug, and that arm was around me like steel. I could not move. I heard Ace yelling something stupid from across it, way out in the yard about an avocado tree, which, by the way, Ace couldn't care less about an avocado tree. Never could. Doesn't care about avocados. Doesn't like them. Couldn't tell us about the tree.
Right.
Nothing. I felt like some sort of trafficked whore in my own home.
Avo.
So when I did get away and wriggle away from Gene, I wriggled away from him. I ran. I went into the bathroom. I felt so sick and I felt so violated in my own home. I can't explain to anybody what that really felt like. And there's a little bit of blood in my brand new bathing suit that Ace bought me, my bikini bottoms, from being chafed from Gene's
Something.
rings or veils or whatever, just shoving it inside of me. You know, and then I tell Ace that night what happened to me, and he's taking his pills and he's gonna, and I'm like, and I explained to him what happened, and he's like, well, you were raped before, toughen up. I thought you were tough, which took me by such shock.
Yeah, toughen up the
man
rapes.
that loved me for 12 years said this to me. How could he say this to me?
But
I was imagining his arms around me. I was imagining him saying, "It's okay. We're not gonna allow this to happen."
Wasn't until a year later that it's related to Kiss.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are they doing this to me? I have nowhere to live. Why is he doing it? Not just that. 12 years I gave him, and you know what? I keep saying that to people, but you know what? He took that 12 years. He took it. He took every 24 hours. He took every single moment, every single second. And he squeezed, 12 years out of me. He isolated me. He took it out of me. My girlfriend the other day, she came over to take me to eat. And she said, Rachel, we saw it.
Yeah.
We thought it was good at first. So we actually saw you jumping around, if we
Hand and foot.
didn't come up, which was rare, and you leaping around to do what he wanted at his command all day, just like get this, get that, do this, do that, open the door, answer the phone, blah blah blah. He took that from me and left me believing that never, ever, ever in text, in writing, in cards, in sobbing, hugging, on vacation, never, no matter what, will he ever, ever, ever harm me or allow me to be without, and I will never worry. All of a sudden, my life is threatened in front of my girlfriend's little children, like a Manson attack by this big guy with loaded guns.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I have
The
I
month
have all of our furniture there.
6515 Primera Esquerdo. She's supposed to be moving from that house to get married into another house in Rancho del Lago, in a gated community, and yet she's struggling because the water's turned off in late August by Ace, and she has nowhere to go.
After the ambush, I had to move to some weird house.
This is within a month after the ambush. You follow me on that, Ramsey?
During COVID, I woke up in the morning to my bed being surrounded by sheriffs.
Yeah, this is a year later.
A week after I had a phone call from Ace.
September.
Take me to dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And then a week later, I wake up and there's police officers with guns.
I'm going to make your life very, very difficult.
And not only that, one of the cops that was like 6'5" was physically shaking me, and I wasn't dressed. I was in my bed undressed. Physically shaking me.
With the 17 tons of furniture.
Cops standing around my bed, I have pictures of them. And they're going, you have 2 minutes to get out of your house. I said, can I get my things? I said, what's going on? Do you have papers? They had no official paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
None. No official paperwork was given to me, handed to me, nothing. And I said, can I get my things? No. And the guy gets handcuffs out and goes, if you're not out in 2 minutes, you're going to Las Vegas. I said, for what? He said, you owe rent. I said, America owes rent. There's a violence. You got 2 minutes.
Yeah. This is against Governor Newsom's order.
Paid for by the Jewish community.
Yeah.
No money.
You can only evict if you're a criminal or you're running a drug house or you're a health threat. Rachel was none of those things. Go ahead, Rachel, sorry.
People don't understand. I was calling Ace from the hotel phone. His daughter answered the phone and loaded, just like he is, going, hello. I said, Monique, I said, I'm in a hotel. I was with your father for 12 years. I have no food, no money. I've been evicted during COVID because, what? Oh, my dad says that I have to hang up the phone now. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
That's what I did after 12 years. You want me to read an elaborate card that she wrote me in 2019 saying how much she loves me?
Yeah. And Origins Volume 2. Origins Volume 2, Ace is fit. He's with Raunchy. He's back. The public persona is the exact opposite.
He's not fit. He looks like shit.
Okay.
I'm sorry. He is not fit. And she's talking about how she has him on a what she says. I don't listen to her. Someone told me on a one of those things that the exercise thing where you walk.
Yeah.
A treadmill.
Yeah.
We can't get on a treadmill. That's why I'm barely walking.
Yeah, he has trouble walking, literally. He has bad knees.
Is real.
Yeah.
He has trouble walking.
Yeah.
He can't walk through a casino with
I've seen his gait
on for more than an hour without having to sit down because his shins and his ankles are bad from years and years of platform wearing and jumping around on stage. Mm-hmm. If he gets on a treadmill, it will permanently fuck up his legs.
So it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. Some problems. Okay, Rachel, I want to get back to the assault itself. What did Gene actually say to you at that moment?
He said, come on. He said, you know who I am.
Come on, you know who I am. Okay.
He said, come on, you know who I am. He said, come on. He paused for a second and said, you know who I am.
Okay, there's a famous, come on, man, you know who I am. Okay? It's the current president of the United States against Tara Reid in years ago when she was an intern. Come on, man, I thought you liked me. So when I heard that and I heard Gene's, come on, you know who I am. You follow me, Ramsey? Right? So it's that level, right?
I don't understand. I guess everything would have worked out and there'd be a kiss reunion and I wouldn't have my life threatened and I wouldn't be homeless in the middle of COVID. Had I just lifted up my sundress and let Gene have it.
I mean, no, of course not, Rachel. Of course not. But
that is?
Yeah.
What they wanted. Gene, is that what you wanted? If I would have just got up and spread my legs and taken my bikini off and let you get it on with me, I'd be fine, right?
So there's a trafficking
And I had
aspect to
lawyers,
this.
and I
What is
told
this all about?
And so he was given orders to get away from me again, just like 2018, and that's the way it is. I believe. That's what I believe.
A bit of final questions, if you have any, Ramsey. There is some current stuff that's going on. Do you want us to go over that?
Yeah, I definitely want to know the current stuff for sure.
Okay, so the current stuff is that Rachel's situation is clearly not better. We've had initial talks with on the second lawsuit, sexual battery, to Gene. And Gene should have been questioned as soon as he got off the flight from Dubai on January 1st at LAX. I had conversations with Customs and Border Chief of Police there, and they wanted to detain him. They wanted to detain him. There wasn't a current warrant, though. You know, they're obviously trying to avoid this because it would hurt their brand. They did sign a 150 city tour contract for the rest of the tour. Nobody knows when it's starting. We think June, July. Ace has a schedule that has them in Warrendale, Pennsylvania as of April 8th, 2021. That date is holding. It'll probably go away. Is Ace going to be able to go out on tour? Absolutely not. If he does, we have a default judgment for the first case. Okay, you remember the palimony, right? Okay, this is just against Ace. Palimony partnership, he didn't respond. We're in a DJ default judgment situation where we can enforce that. We will enforce it with garnishment of any appearance he makes. I don't care that he's not with End of the Road or he hasn't signed on to Gene's Dog and Pony show or Gene Simmons Vault or whatever the hell they're going to do. Whether they're going to do Kiss World upside down and backwards. Rachel and the lawsuits are going to be there. Nothing stops that express train. Okay. In terms, and they're not going to get away. We're not another country where someone's liberties besides cancel culture can get away with this. It's as simple as that.
Taking away all my rights as a human and as a woman.
Yeah. We have substantial amount. Yeah. Just the fraud alone, you feel like you're Elliot Ness with Al Capone, right? I mean, the fraud alone, right? That's what nailed Al Capone. Was Elliot Ness was able to get him on financial stuff. So just the fraud alone, the authorities are interested in this. The bank is interested in it. The water district he defrauded, not paying bills where he tried to siphon the water. Everybody's interested. If you follow what I'm saying, it's getting wider. In terms of the courts, default judgment on one. Number two, it's being served. We're going after Gene. Barry Mellon, their attorney, is trying to do machinations against this, trying to say that it never happened. He's trying to use Ace's words, you know, that he signed some sort of document that it never happened. Sorry, Ace, you know, shit's to be you because it's, you know, gloves are off, right? What are you going to say? You didn't say it? You follow me? Right? Yeah. Rachel from day one has said very consistently what happened. Rachel from day one knows where this occurred. We have very good material, evidence for this. Not only physical material, where it occurred. There's people who have consistently said, just like in the Tara Reid, this isn't he said, she said. There are people like in the Tara Reid case who say, yeah, I remember her talking about that. Rachel talked to people about it, obviously, right? This was something that traumatically happened to her. So this erasure type approach, that doesn't fly either. You can't erase yesterday. We can deal with today and tomorrow, and we will be dealing with today and tomorrow.
You can't erase your wife of 12 years.
Someone who 24/7 had their life taken away, your job is me 24/7, 365. This is not going away. I entered the scene on related to an eviction, COVID, Gavin Newsom. You can't evict somebody, in San Diego County unless they're running a drug house or they're some sort of a health threat. I didn't understand it. $146,000 worth of property was stolen by a lawyer related to that. That's being dealt with. We have cars missing. Rachel's homeless because of this. She has no way to, we're fighting to restore credit.
When I was evicted in the middle of this COVID, these horrible landlords of mine invited my neighbors in, knowing who I was and everything,
To take
asking questions
property.
about Ace. So whatever they wanted from me.
Yeah, a cop too. This is great. This is like
bullshit for me.
I mean in the sense of how wide it is.
So-called lawyer.
Yeah. It gets worse and worse, right? The number of offenses here is in excess of 30. 30.
Ace told me Gene will do anything to you, anything
To avoid
not
jail.
go to prison.
To avoid jail. So we have 2 lawsuits that were settled by Gene and the same people, Doc McGee and Barry Mellon, related to the San Marcos Rock and Bruce assault of a TV reporter and a dishwasher. That's in 17. By the way, that's what Ace is referencing. Gene cannot be held one more because he's already had too many, right? All of this. They're using the civil system to try to buy off somebody.
Now, is there a warrant out for Gene for the criminal?
No, not yet. Not yet. That's being investigated. We'll leave it at that. Okay.
What's your source of income right now, Rachel? What are you doing for money?
I have no money at all. I had a GoFundMe when this first started a long time ago, and my rabbi helped me post it and everything, and Ace took it down. And my rabbi was like, I have no idea how that could have been taken down. It's impossible. Well, guess what? I said, I know who took it down. He took it down out of embarrassment because his ex is not being treated like the princess that everyone thinks that he treated me like. He was embarrassed. He doesn't want anyone to know.
Rachel's been
exactly what's going on. He took it down, and recently somebody contacted me on social media and said, you know what, Rachel? It was like a fake account. Rachel, you're right. Ace did, and I know it for sure. Ace did.
Okay, so that's another allegation.
The person told me they took it down. I don't know who they are, and it was some weird fake account that got all of me. So he took it down. I have no source of income. I thought I just felt like someone offered me some weird singing gig in an RV park.
Yeah.
I was excited about it because it was some kind of money. I had no money to eat, no money to live,
Right.
no money at all.
So the gig was canceled because of a closure of a rec center for COVID. Yeah. Rachel's been trying to rotate some of the cassette tapes that she has of old original Kiss stuff to make money. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So we will be accessing the courts to address all this.
I felt like I had in 12 years, like I had some time to go learn a skill, to learn how to get a, I don't know, some regular real estate job or some, a nurse's assistant, like I'm an artist and I'm a singer.
Okay, I'll add one more thing legally.
What am I
Okay.
supposed to do? It's COVID.
Ace never paid her proper wages, unemployment claim. He's an employer. Do you follow what I'm saying? He had tour managers, he had staff.
Gives me money for a house.
Rachel did 12 to 16 functions. It's legitimate work. 24/7, 365. 12 years.
Wipe his ass and help him figure out what he was going to wear.
Well, not just that, not just the quote nursing stuff.
Never leave his side.
Yeah. Any more questions, Ramsey?
I never gave him a reason to worry or anything.
It's all in the suit, right? Suit, plural.
And Tony, you know what Tony used to say all the time? When I was being silly and dancing around, and Ace would say something to me, like Ace would say something like, calm down, or he would And I usually can roll with things, you know, I mean, sort of just roll certain things off. Because I'm not a person that likes to fight unless someone's being a real serious jerk. But I had to do this thing where whenever Ace told me to do something and I did it, whether he said calm down or I want you to eat now or I want you to put your pajamas on or I want you to get in the bubble bath and relax or something like that, he would do that. And whenever I would do it, Tony would stand next to him at the last mansion we were at where he had her working 24/7, you know, mostly, you know, keeping an eye on me. And Tony would look at me and say, she takes such good direction. Look at her. She's very, very good direction.
Wow, this is an armed bodyguard with guns on her hips. I thought we were out of you know, some Middle East countries here, you know, like seriously, you know, someone saying that as an armed bodyguard, that's deeply disturbing.
Have you ever gone to therapy to deal with your post-traumatic stress?
Well, I don't think she's been able to.
What?
He's asking if you've gone to any therapy for post-traumatic stress.
How? My doctors are saying you need to come in and get tested. I'm like, who pays cash for my doctors?
Yeah. She has no access to a healthcare system right now.
Because before I met him, I made my own money and had my own place to live and had my own life and my own little bank account and I sang and I had a neat little place and everything and you know and I lived somewhere for 7 years and then I met him and then in the middle of like talking to him on the phone, by the way, and all this, my grandma died. I put everything in storage. I go and move in with my grandparents' house because my grandpa passed away. And I took a rack of clothes and I was still doing photo shoots. I was still but I was staying at my grandpa's. So, but I was looking at other places to move. I had no idea I was going to end up moving with him. But now he's ruined my credit. I have no way of making money. I have no way of thinking there's COVID. I have no way of doing anything.
It's
and
a perfect
trap. I don't have
trap.
any family that can help me with money. Everyone's dead.
Yeah.
My father's not doing well at all.
Yeah, her father has cancer.
He's living out in the desert with his friends. And the only two other relatives I have are in Covington, Louisiana. And I can't get there with my furniture because nobody will help me. And one of my cousins called me when I was in that hotel. And I want to say this for refuge. One of my cousins, my mom's sister's daughter, called me.
This is a good part.
Covington, Louisiana, and said, come out here. I've got a mover guy, and I know the whole moving company. And they will give you a deal, and they'll get your furniture out here, and you can live out here with me. And I wanted to go out there, and I called, and I said, I have no money to the moving company. And they said, well, ma'am, and it was a really nice older man. And he said, well, it can't help, you know, it can't hurt trying to ask your ex-husband if maybe he'll just help you, you know, with the money to get your furniture moved in our truck out to your cousin. He said, if you want, I'll have a talk with him. And I said, okay. And I was hysterical. I was in this hotel. I had no food.
This is while she's in the hotel.
The housekeeper that I got from my rabbi to bring me water and fruit.
So to get her to relatives to Louisiana.
I lost 40 pounds. I was passing out. I couldn't eat or drink or think. I had a migraine. I was just hysterical. So this mover guy from Louisiana that my cousin knows, he was like old, this old man that's nice. He calls me back and he says in his Louisiana accent, he says, ma'am, I don't think that your husband's going to help me out. And I said, why? What did he say? And he said, well, I'm a gentleman, so I can't repeat what he said. I can text it to you though. And I said, please text me, you know. And then I said, I need you to call me and I need you to really talk to me. And I'm sorry that you have to swear, but I need to know what he said to you. And he said that he called Ace. Ace did the same thing to me, by the way. He called Ace and he just said, hi, you know, I'm so-and-so, I'm her cousin, you know, friend, and I got this company and I want to get her out here to Louisiana. Can you help us, you know, move her so she's safe, so she's with a relative out here, and he was a gentleman, and he said that Ace immediately started going, no, motherfucker, screaming, and he said he heard two women that said, come on, calm down now. Yeah.
Okay.
And Ace did the same thing to me. I called him up and I said, I need help. And I called him from the hotel phone. And when he answered it, screamed motherfucker at me.
Right.
At me.
Right.
He's never called me anything of this
So,
sort in 12 years. I mean,
get assaulted in the Kiss family, and it becomes you attack the victim. This sounds like another culture in the Middle East to me. Okay. Dunkirk, okay, Dunkirk, New York. Hold on.
Light me on fire. That's what they do in Muslim countries. If the in-laws don't approve of the woman, they light her on fire.
Yeah, what next?
They've done everything to me but light me on fire. That's the only thing they haven't done.
Okay, Dunkirk, New York. Her father is living there up until, I think, what, 2015, 14, whatever. Ace sends one of the.
He wasn't living in New York.
No, he was.
Married and moved to Buffalo.
He was on.
Some woman, and he had kids with her.
I know. At the
end.
end.
He left, and they had a dirty divorce, terrible divorce, custody with the kids.
I'm just trying to get to the Ace part.
She died, and he moved, and he was living in Pennsylvania in a cabin, and he was kayaking and stuff. And Ace played a concert there and met my father, and just with my father.
Yeah, this is the Erie concert.
Come out and live.
Erie, PA concert.
And he sent Big Chris to go out and get my dad and move him out without even asking my dad.
Okay, so he wasn't on Lake Erie. I thought he was on a cabin in Lake Erie near Dunkirk.
He was on Lake Erie.
Okay, it's Lake Erie, Pennsylvania then, okay? You with me, Ramsey?
Yep.
So he moves her father out to San Diego because that's where they are by that point after leaving New York. And it's discovered that he has cancer. He suffers with cancer all through this period, is there all the way right to the ambush July 12th, 19, and now is out in.
Ace went to the hospital. Ace called his dad. Ace went to the hospital.
We have a video of them playing pool
My
together.
dad, constantly, I got a whole video of them playing pool. He adored my dad. And when he just called me, by the way, he just called me a week prior, a while back before I was evicted during COVID, and said he missed me, and I looked like Richard Bardell, and he missed me. He still has feelings for me. He said, I still have feelings for you, and I want to know if I can take you to dinner. And he said, and by the way, how's your dad? I love your dad. I miss your dad. How's dad doing? And I said, I was confused. I said, where are you? He said, I'm in California. I'm in Newport Beach. I said, what's going on? I said, where's the weightlifter? He goes, he's 3,000 fucking miles away.
This is the one he's with now. So.
What's he got to do anything? He's 3,000 fucking miles away.
Okay, just as much as he's ruined Rachel's life, he's also ruined her father's life. Okay, you with that? So there's two people here, not one. Right.
My
And
grandfather is 96, and my grandfather came up for Christmas in 2018 or 19. The last Christmas we had at the mansion, there's pictures.
that would
He came up and
be
stayed Christmas with us.
18.
And he's 95. And he looked at Ace. I've got pictures of him playing pool, pictures of him on the couch. He looked at Ace in the morning and said, and Ace said, how you feeling, Grandpa? And my grandpa looked up at him and said, well, and he's a tough old man, my grandpa, but he said, I'm getting old. I'm getting up there, Ace. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to just drive up here anymore. And Ace said, well, you don't have to worry about driving up here anymore. I'll make sure someone picks you up, and I want you to listen to me, and I want you to listen to me good. You listen to me, Grandpa. He said, you ever come to that moment where you get confused, or you feel afraid, or you think, it's time that you don't want to be alone anymore. He said, you call, because this is your family. I'm your family, and I'm going to take care of you. You're going to come live here. You understand?
Yeah.
You understand me?
So the taking care promise that he.
And you know what happened? This year, Grandpa had to be taken care of, and an uncle that is a friend of my dad's that he adopted, my Uncle Tom, has got him. And I had to tell Tom, embarrassingly, I'm sorry if this, everything's happened to me. Otherwise, I'd be taking care of Grandpa. I'm in a hotel.
Right. So even Rachel can't help. That's bad.
I have nobody, and nobody that can help. Ace knows that there's nobody. He took me, plucked me out of my life and said, no, your life doesn't really matter. From now on, your job is me. And that's what the book there is more than halfway written, is called. Your job is me. And your job is me means that it was.
I want to end.
I can love him. I still love him. I always will love him. Of course I love him. But look what he's done to me.
Yeah.
I have nowhere to live and no way to survive. If I wasn't on my friend's couch right now, what would I do? Just walk out and take my purse? Just walk out? Walk out into the street? I have no way to eat or live.
Okay.
An animal, a little bear is doing this to me. The world, what is wrong with these people? What's wrong with them?
Okay. Atonement. I want to end with one word. It's not as big a word as calumny. Okay. It's from someone a little bit important. Okay, atonement. So this is not just about everything that he did. It's about atonement. Like, how do you atone for your life, right? Look at what you did. And you can say it's moral authority, ethics, whatever. Ultimately, people have to atone to themselves. And I don't think he can do that. I don't think he'll ever do that.
No empathy. There's no empathy there. He doesn't care if I live or if I die all of a sudden after 12 years.
Okay, any final questions, Ramsey? I want to wrap this up.
I mean, you guys pretty much covered everything that's going on so far. I just hope that you...
The other thing we'll add is that there's still things in motion. Legally, there's still stuff that's going to happen. We can do another update. But, you know, I was trying to frame it in the sense of...
I will see your asses and berries and dogs in court.
Yeah. Let me just say this. Let me add something about Rachael that's really important. I can't count on one hand, not even two, how many times I've been so proud of her to be able to say, to be able to stand up. Most victims can't even face this type of stuff and actually correspond and speak to these people. And she spoke to them civilly. We have recordings of this, not, you know, even to Doc, even to different people on the other side, even to Ace, even to Monique, just all kinds of people, okay? And it's always been civil, right? And you're hearing her emotion and her, you know, obvious anxiety related to this. And I'm telling you that I can vouch for everything's been very professional. And yet, you know, they're trying to run away from it. And ultimately, they won't be able to do that.
Every single day of my life, every day I wake up and I'm on this person's couch and I wake up every morning and my heart is pounding and I'm gasping. Sometimes I wake up 5 times and I wake up all night gasping like, and I wake up in the morning and I feel like there's nothing underneath me. I'm out in the world and there's nothing under me.
This is a daily punishment, daily.
There's no family anymore. There's nothing under me. Nobody.
Even though she's in the county that she grew up in, and he may or may not even be there. We've got all kinds of theories as to where he is. He's moving around. Okay. He was in Nashville. He was in Jersey. He's there. He's, you know, he does these interviews, etc. Ultimately, Rachael has to deal with this every single moment of her life. And that's a punishment that nobody should have to go through. Rachael, I want you to take a break, okay?
What's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? Why can't they just give me a house and money to live and leave me the fuck alone?
Right. And give her back an ounce of dignity.
In my life, I wrote songs for him. I did everything I could possibly do.
Yeah.
Why can't I just have a home? I don't want a fucking mansion in Malibu. I just need a home and money to live. Why can't they give that?
Yeah, we made really stable and just, you know, decent offers for them to deal with this. And, you know, we just hear, you know, whether Gene's going to make whatever statement on, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying, Ramsey?
Right.
You know, that it's just the PR. And, you know, Shannon Tweed and her daughter are supposed to be for victims.
What person, nobody would ever treat a woman like this. It's horrible.
Right.
What
Shannon confronted Jean on the famous Joy Behar video, and, you know, they're not warts, and, you know, I stand up for victims, and it's a PR. It's a PR routine, even down to the daughter, Sophie, being involved with the Vancouver, you know, shelter and stuff for women. And so, you know, you can't be that much of a hypocrite and get away with this. So there still is a court of public opinion. And that's why we're doing this interview. Okay.
Well, I wish the best of luck to you. I hope things turn around.
I have to go and get in the shower now.
Yeah, go, Rachel. I'll get in contact with you later. I just need to say something to Ramsey.
I have time to do what I can do. I have nowhere to live except I'm on this house with my first on ground. And, you know, I'm thankful every second that I'm alive, but I really feel like I'm barely alive.
Go inside, Rachel. Go inside. Okay.
I've lost any kind of joy, any
Yeah.
kind of like, you know, any kind of, I'm starting to lose hope.
Hang in there. Hang in there. Okay.
I'm not a person like that. I'm not.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up like that.
Okay.
It's not. He's taken every single bit away, every hope, every happiness away from me. He told me that he's going to make my life miserable and it's going to be really difficult.
Rachel, can you go inside? It's late. Okay. Just,
Yeah, okay, I gotta go.
yeah, collect yourself and go inside. Okay. I'll get in touch with you. Bye. Bye. I just need to say something to you. Okay. For how this can be dealt with. I mean, your podcast. Okay.
Okay.
I was worried about all this because when I came into it, that's the thing that actually brought me into it, was listening to your podcast of her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And things have progressed. I just to even get to document this and to log it and to write it down, it took me, I don't know, 8 weeks.
Right.
With 9 days of tapes. When she was assaulted in a trailer after leaving the hotel, I was on the phone 14 hours. I can't remember being on the phone with anybody in my life for 14 hours.
No, this is definitely
You know, so it was heavy, right? Like it was like the Beirut bomb, you know, where it went boom, like that, right?
right.
And it was like, okay, this started in Chula Vista at 773 Delatoba, an eviction. And all of a sudden I'm dealing with Ace Frehley, 12 years, and Gene Simmons all the way to LA into the famous mansion. And I'm blown away by all this, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'm the guy who helped them do the Cleveland thing in 2005, and there was a $1,500 case related to that, stolen money when we organized the protest. I mean, that's like a pea in a pod compared to this, right?
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck? I knew about Rachael Gordon. I heard of her as a San Diego singer. I mean, you know, related to Ace, blah, blah, blah. I was supposed to go to the Erie concert, Erie, PA, you know where I live, right?
Mm-hmm.
See Ace Frehley, man. What's the gig? What's the deal? And I listened to her, I don't know, you know, like you did probably within, you know, there's a lot of people who are trashing her, right? Saying she's a gold digger. And Rachel's response is always really quick, where's the gold? Right? Which is a funny way to respond, right?
Right.
Rachel's not a gold digger. Here, she lived a certain life, but it was actually a paid job, an indirect paid job. And then what broke it all open, what I was trying to emphasize was she simply said, you know, what about security for me? And if something happened to you, let's say on the road, where we're not together, or where we are together, right? And that's where it all broke open. So she did 09 to 16, July 1st, Canada Day 16, before this SpaceAceMusic was set up. We have found out that he ran Gendel Productions, Inc. Okay, FYI. prior.
Wow.
And that was his company from Wendy Moore to Rachel. So he has a history of doing this. He didn't pay taxes up in New York. He didn't pay mortgage. The house burned. There was fraud, not related to that, related to contracts before. So there is a pattern here, but it all kinds to come into this, point. I dated July 1st, 2016. Because whatever it was up until that point, it went in a totally different direction after that.
Right.
And it ended up with the detente with Gene, and the de-thawing of ice in the KISS world that Ramsey, when you read stuff and it's like months later and you go, oh, is that what's going on? You don't really pay attention to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how you see something and oh, when was that? That was 4 years ago, that video. That's the way I was looking at things, right? I would see Rachel being interviewed with Ace Frehley at, these awards. There's actually not that many videos. But the thing that struck me in my little corner of my ear right here, the earlobe, right here, was that I noticed that she wasn't allowed to speak much. And I thought, that's interesting. Do you follow me? I was already cluing into something's amiss here.
Yeah, definitely.
Something's off. Something doesn't make sense, Now we've had this Amber, Tommy's somewhat ex now, attacking her. Just talked to her the last day about it, and she says, I never met her. I never spoke to her. And she's laying into Rachel's version of events. Amber.
Yeah, I've seen some of that.
And it's some guy from like West Germany or something, it's a European guy interviewing her. And I was fascinated by that because I went to End of the Road March in Toronto and July. And I know Mo Rotundi, who's imitated Gene and Destroyer out of Detroit, Windsor since 92. And we talked about it at the concert. Okay. Tommy's separation and the woman he's with, because she was standing about 30 feet from us. So the touch base is back to Amber. And like, that's how far they'll go. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're manipulating her.
Right.
And all of a sudden, someone named Amber, who had a relationship with the replacement of Ace, is going on about Rachel and saying like ugly things,
Yeah, it doesn't make
You
sense.
shouldn't believe her. Like, I was like, what the fuck, man? And so I've written some responses on your YouTube thing to people, to try to say, hey, that's not the story. I've had some older men, older KISS fans, older than you, older than me even, say, you know what? I wouldn't doubt it, Like it's like 5 out of 100, 5 out of 25 or something like that,
Right.
And we have been contacted by women who said they've had the hair pull multiple times backstage by Gene. So, I'm a court administrator by trade, and it adds up. Okay. Like there's a pattern here. So, when I got involved, it was just, as I said, a COVID eviction, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought, wow, I'm going to enter this legally. I'm going to try to help this woman. I'm not full sure of the whole story. Next thing you know, she was mouthing about Ace Frehley. And I was like, it's not pure in interest here. It's not, oh, well, used a dildo or something. I couldn't care less. It was like, what? And then when I went the plus symbol to Gordon Gerbert's video, it started to make sense. And I thought, remember those rumors, Rob, that you heard back in 92 when you avoided his gig out on Independence Boulevard in Charlotte? Sounds like there was something that happened after, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I see Gerbert's video, and then, the police actually found the video, and they started to talk to me about it. And I'm a justice official, and I'm like, yep, You can view it, what it says. There it is, right there. It's his own words. So it became he was indicting himself, if I can use that phrase, right?
Right.
And I thought, we have more than a civil lawsuit here than palimony and, partnership, right? P&P or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got some other things going on here. Did anybody file for sexual battery? No. Ooh, wait a second. When is the deadline on that? And I went, we got to get to the post. This is a race now. And so I started to work on that in the background. Your video, this interview, what do you intend to do with it all? Let me ask that as a broad question before I go.
I'm going to go through and piece some things together, and then I'll put it up the way I did the other things. What I'll do is I will, when I put it up on my site, I'll attach your press release to it.
Sure.
And
the lawsuits are filed, Ramsey, they're filed. So, and we're just doing email service because it's allowed in COVID for Gene and Ace. So, and Ace had the way his lawyer was described was like a New Jersey mafia guy from the past, but actually he's an LA lawyer. He's an entertainment quote unquote lawyer. Entertainment lawyers do contracts for like Britney Spears and Demi Lovato, for
right.
contracts. And this guy has been Ace's lawyer for a long time. And Rachael actually met him several times. She didn't even describe that, where she went into his office and Ace was doing things, I don't know, contractually, all kinds of shit. And he came out and he said, I'm really sorry you're involved in this. This is his lawyer from the past meeting the new woman.
Right.
Okay. So like talk about an admission or a telltale sign. And apparently he left the room and he said, I'm going to have my son deal with this because I can't be in the same room with him. He pisses me off so much. This is his own lawyer.
Wow.
So, and Barry Mellon is doing everything possible to dam the torpedoes and prevent everything from occurring. That's Gene's lawyer. Now, there is a scale here. There's Ace out of the band, 100,000, step on the stage. And there's Kiss $1 million with the big explosions and shit. And, you have Barry Mellon, who's been doing kiboshing with Doc. Do you remember what I said about Doc, saying, I don't want to deal with your shit anymore, like on the road and stuff like that. And
right.
then going to Mellon and right away Doc goes, well, this isn't in my wheelhouse. This is Mellon stuff, which means something happened, an assault, right? You follow that? It's not something that I can solve with a FedEx delivery as a manager. This is something that the lawyer deals with and pays people off, right? So, it immediately went into that. If you have two wheels, the ones that spin together and join, it went into that wheelhouse where it was like, okay, right away, we know what this is. Gene's at it again, right? And I was like, well, they better come to the table real quick here, right? All you got to do is just click on the links and I'll send them to you. And it's in the press release too, of the prior assaults at the casino. These are TV reporters at 7:30 in the morning for Rock and Brews, where they're stuffing a burger or a pizza in their mouth and going, hey, come to our noon thing for the veterans and we're going to open this restaurant. And everyone, you don't even have to be in the Kiss Army. Just come here. You're a rock and roll fan. Bring your dog, bring your mother, bring your grandma. Just eat our slop. Okay. So they're pushing their restaurant. And what does Gene do, man? Gene assaults a good-looking reporter. There's always the good chick who's trying to climb the ladder, right? I mean, let's be blunt here. So he puts his hands on the reporter. He puts his hands on a dishwasher. The guy's loose again. It's like, you tied that together. I admit these are allegations, okay? They're unproven, but, it's there, right? The allegations are there. You tied together with the cops showing up at 8 a.m. over the pornography, and they're all denying it, saying it was a worker. I'm in the justice system. I don't mean we always go 100% negative, but there's smoke there. There's definite smoke there. So Rachael being assaulted related to thawing with Ace and the back to the room, you know, the rooms in Indiana or something on, you know, where, or even in the South where they were being protested against. The chicken coop story out of the radio thing, it all fits. And I'm like, oh boy, take down your 12-year-old posters when you were 12-year-old, right? This is what's going on, right? And I am 100% on Rachel's side with what she did. I've cataloged 12 to 16 job duties. So she wasn't just a clothier to the latest, you know, woman. Gene calls them, what is it, women in waiting or whatever, right? You know, he has all these phrases, right? So it's not good news.
No, well,
Good news.
hopefully things turn around and, you know.
Well, you heard it at the end. There is a bit of a we here. There's not just me. There's a couple other people behind the scenes. We're trying to get Rachel into a house and make sure she survives a year. Her legal team, unfortunately, with the palimony, the one that's in default, they're muffing the ball. They're fumbling the ball worse than Josh would in a championship game or something. So it's not fully there out there with the legal stuff. So I'm just, as a manager, I'm trying to get her back on the road, get her into money, but also because of my legal background, making sure that the legal stuff goes tickety-boo. They're going to be served. Gene screams and yells, I want to fight you in court. You know, people who pop their heads up, who you know, because my theory is he's done a lot to a lot of people and only a certain small percentage takes them on. And he has statements from the dishwasher and stuff. I'll fight her. I didn't do that, blah, blah, it didn't go down that way. And then the lawyers go, listen, buddy, you better not let even 1/10 of this out. So Gloria Allred, you've heard of Gloria Allred, right? You know, the I actually follow Gloria Allred's techniques and her legal filing. I'm the guy who wrote the second lawsuit. So I wrote it because Rachel basically has no money to pay anybody. And the first lawyer's like, I'm full up, right? So I realized that we had to get it in on sexual battery. So, disgusting stuff overall. Really it is. And it makes me angry. And Ace is trying to, you know, erase her, right? What you pointed out today. So it's not going to fly. It's not going to fly.
Well, thank you so much for taking out your time and speaking with me and getting Rachel on, and, you know, letting everyone know what's going on, keeping us up to date.
Yeah, I'll be in touch. I'll try to keep it to something significant, and I won't be, you know, sending you daily stuff or something like that. When something breaks, we already know some breaking stuff that's going to happen in the next month or so, but I got to see how that plays out.
All right, great, man. You have my contact information. Feel free to reach out whenever.
Yeah. Kudos to your site. You said you were getting 1 million. I mentioned it to my son. We run a website too. It's a business site. It's not relevant to this at all. So I'm impressed that you're even pulling 1 million. So that's cool.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Anybody from Buffalo and anybody from just across the border, we're all friends. We're waiting for the border to open like everybody else. So.
Definitely.
Have a good night, man. Have a good night. Take care.